You can measure the size of an elephant. You can clock the speed of a cheetah, but you can't quantify the heart of a kings, queens, and in-betweens. Welcome to Dr. Boxing Talk. Stream starts now.
The champ is here! 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 The champ is here!
If I tell you I'm good, probably you will say I'm boasting. But if I tell you I'm no good, you know I'm lying.
If I tell you I'm good, probably you'll say I'm boasting. But if I tell you I'm no good, you know I'm lying. I love that. I love that Bruce Lee quote. That Bruce Lee quote so gangster. Rest in peace, Bruce Lee. Yeah, man. Rest in peace to the GOAT. Yes, sir, ski. Let me get my glasses together. Oh. Okay. Well, hey. What's good, people? What's good, good people? Y'all know what time it is. The doctor's in the house. We got the good people here in the morning, man. You know what I'm saying? Let's hit this roll call for me. Yeah, Big Dub in the building. Yo, God bless the family. God bless you too, brother. We got Smoochie in the building one time for the ladies. We got my boy Garter Snake in the building. Joe Calzaghe at his finest. Oh my God. I ain't even mad at my boy no more, man. I understand it. I respect it. One time for the great Joe Calzaghe. You know what I'm talking about? All right, let me check this out. Let me fix my YouTube sub count, man. Yes, sir. I want to say thank y'all. And first of all, thank God. And then thank y'all again for the support, man. We hit 2,000 subscribers. I think it was either Friday or Saturday. I don't even remember. I just know I woke up to it, man. So that's a blessing, man. Bruce Lee, yes, sir. Yes, sir, man. One of the GOATs, man. I need a Bruce Lee emote for sure. You know what I'm saying? For real. He's definitely a GOAT, you know. But yeah, before we get started, man, let's go ahead and say our prayers as usual. So please bow your heads and join me. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you, Lord, for letting us make it to this another day. It's another Monday, another beginning of the work week, not the beginning of the week. The beginning of the week was yesterday. Hopefully we started off yesterday on a Sunday with our best foot forward, and that's always praise you. We give you the thanks and the glory that you so much deserve, Lord. And excuse me. Thank you, Lord, for leading us into this Monday, Lord, and whatever we have on our plate, whatever we have on our schedule, please remind us and make us more inclined to take a moment to pray and give thanks, Lord, and give you the glory, Lord, because without you, we are nothing. Without you, we couldn't wake up. Without you, we couldn't have anything to put on our schedule or plan forward or plan for, Lord. So please, not only continue to protect us, but also continue to keep sickness away from our doorstep, keep foulness away from our minds, and keep, I don't know, just condescension away from our tongues and disrespect away from our tongues, Lord. And let's approach this Monday as a new day, not just a new day to accomplish our goals, but a new day to be a blessing and step forth as a blessing to others, and especially those that we love. Thank you, Lord, for all that you've done, the small things, the large things, the things that go unnoticed, the things that we expect, the things that we forget. Thank you for everything, Lord. In Jesus' name, amen. Amen, amen, amen. Hey, thank you, Garden Snake. I appreciate it, bro. I needed that. I don't know where that sneeze came from. Thank you, bro. Thank you for the blessing. I appreciate it, brother. You think Bruce Lee could deal with these Dagestan and All-American wrestlers? Absolutely. But I will say this, Garden Snake. I will be honest, man. I'm one of those guys that think greatness will always find a way. So, like, when people ask me, yo, we got my boy Mike in the building. So when people ask me, like, hey, do you think Jordan could have been Jordan in this era? I say yes. When people say, oh, do you think LeBron could have been LeBron in the era with Kareem? Yes, because I think greatness finds a way. Do you think Albert Einstein would have been smart today? Yes, I think he would have been smarter. You know, do you think Neil deGrasse Tyson would have been smart back with Albert? Yes, I do. So I think that greatness always finds a way. Now, realistically speaking, though, you know, it gets kind of hard because, you know, then you think about Bruce Lee only being, what, 5'2" or 5'3" or whatever he was, and kind of frail. But like I said, I think that I think greatness finds a way, so I say yes. But God bless you. What do you think, though? Yo, Jeffrey in the building. What's good, Jeffrey? What do you think? I'm curious what you would think, Mike. So that's anything. The only person that I kind of say is an exception to the greatness rule, my greatness rule, is Steph Curry. The only reason why I say Steph Curry is because if you follow Steph Curry and you knew him, I got introduced to him when he was in college at Davidson. Then you knew that he came into the league and he was plagued by injuries. So I do think his greatness translating is a little more difficult, just because I don't know if his body would be able to stand up to the physicality of, like, let's say Gary Payton, because back then everybody was coming with defense like Patrick Beverly. You know what I'm saying? Patrick Beverly was not an exception. You know, it was everybody played both sides of the ball. Which I think the two-way distinction is such a dumb concept, because this is not football, it's basketball, right? Basketball, you play offense and defense. This whole notion that, oh, you're special if you're a two-way player. Everybody should be a two-way player. Everybody should play defense. Defense is just effort, you know. So, but anyway, you know, as the times are changing, we put more emphasis on offense and stuff like that. I tend to subscribe to the notion that greatness in any form, shape, size, or facet, or, you know, in any field either, will always be great. Yeah, it goes from street level to academia to entertainment to sports, whatever it is. I think a great actor today would be a great actor in yesterday or in the future. I think a great influencer, like a celebrity, I say, a rapper, or artist, musician, singer. I think all that stuff will translate. But it's just what you depend on. But it also depends on what you consider great, though. You know, you know. So that's there's that too. All right, but I want to bring this to y'all attention, man, before we get started, man, with the weekend recap. Look at this nonsense. I seen this and almost died. Let me stop playing. I'm just joking. I ain't almost died. But I seen this and look, chat. We dropped a video on this a long time ago, and I said that, you know, I love me some cinnamon, but if this is true, I cannot stand behind this. Now I will say this though. Canelo versus Chris Eubank Jr. in preliminary talks have now restarted. Notice how it says restarted. Because otherwise, without this word restarted, it wouldn't be a problem, right? Because it's let's just read it. Canelo Alvarez versus Chris Eubank Jr. preliminary talks have now restarted for the fight to potentially happen next, Ben Shalom has revealed. We've already started small conversations around the Canelo fight. If he's ever going to fight in the UK, that's the fight, and that would sell out Wembley. See, like, that's not bad to me, right? Because it's boxing, right? I'm sure everybody has small talks. You could say that Gervonta Tank Davis and Chris Eubank Jr. Conor Benn had small talks. So you could say, depends on how you want to look at it. You know, with Edgar Berlanga and Anthony Joshua both being with Matchroom and Eddie Hearn, when Edgar Berlanga was going to fight Canelo, he teased that he could go to heavyweight to fight Anthony Joshua. You could consider, some people would consider that small talks, but I do think it's kind of serious because if you know, I dropped the information before Canelo fought Edgar Berlanga, Chris Eubank Jr. was one of the guys that was in discussions to fight Cinnamon. So while I do think small conversations happen all the time, and that's the nature of boxing, the fact that it says restarted, meaning that they have already visited this before, like I said, you know what I'm saying, in the videos that we dropped in the past. So that's why it's kind of troublesome. I'm not gonna lie, man. I can't stand behind this one. I ain't gonna lie. Like, like, I like Cinnamon, of course. I'm not saying that I wouldn't watch it. Of course I'll watch it, but this would be one of the worst. This would be up there with Floyd versus Conor McGregor. I ain't gonna lie. And I know that sounds disrespectful to Eubank because Eubank is a pretty dedicated boxer. His father's a boxer, but like this makes Canelo versus Julio Cesar Chavez seem like a mega fight or a dream fight. Like, if this happens, bro, I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna be annoyed. I'll be very annoyed. I ain't gonna. I'm not even saying he has to fight somebody challenging, but at least fight fight these guys. You know, like, even if you want to fight somebody easy, that's not really a threat. Okay, well, fight. You know what I'm saying? Go to 168 and fight the guy that's in the top. Fight Lester Martinez. I don't know, the Argentinian super middleweight. Fight Luca Plantic. You know what I'm saying? You know, or come here and fight David Stevens. Who the fuck is that guy? You know, fight Simon Zackenhuber. Who the fuck is that guy? You know, fight Alan Bejic. Who the fuck is that guy? You know, at least they're in the top 10. At least I could be like, okay, you know, my boy Cinnamon, he fight a 168 pounder in the top 10. So that's cool, you know, but you going over here, you fight Chris Eubank. Come on, bro. Chris Eubank, is he even in the top 10 in his 154? Like, where is he? Is he 160, 154? Like, well, I don't even know. Chris Eubank, he's 160. He's top guess. Right? He's not the champion, you know? He's top 5 right here. His last fight was at 160, right? I don't remember. His last fight against Buddy. I can't remember his name. But yeah, it was at 160, I guess. Yeah, I'm not going. I'm not going, chat. I'm not going for that. I'm not going. You know, I rock with Cinnamon, you know what I'm saying? But that's going to be an easy bang, boom, bam.
Eso, sí. Tú vas a mamar el bicho. Tú vas a mamar el...
Yeah, I can't go. Let's see what everybody's saying about this. He said, I'm not informed as informed of Bruce Lee to give it a legit pick. Okay. I'm not mad at that. Duck. I ain't saying he's ducking. Because there's nobody really to duck. So I will say that, you know, not making excuses, but it's just at 168, he already conquered it. You know, he conquered it to the point where when you start vacating belts, because no one knows the mandatory, like, to that extent of like a William Skull, no disrespect to William Skull, but we didn't know the Cuban fighter, right, when he fought Vladimir Shishkin. And so I was okay. I can't speak for everybody else, but I was okay with him vacating in that instance because it's like, who's William Skull? But if you're going to fight Chris Eubank Jr., I prefer for you to fight William Skull and reclaim undisputed at 168. Like, Chris Eubank has no chance, bro. I guess this means Conor Benn's suspension is going to be uplifted anytime soon. Well, I don't know, Garden Snake, because I don't think so. I think it will be, because I heard Eddie Hearn talk about Conor Benn potentially return to the ring in April in the UK. But if you're Chris Eubank, right, who are you taking, Canelo or Conor Benn? If you're 35-year-old Chris Eubank, who are you fighting? You know, as much as big as Conor Benn and Chris Eubank is as an English fight, a domestic fight, a local fight, this is, any fight with Canelo is a global fight. So, you know what I'm saying? You could fight Canelo and then come back and fight Conor Benn. If you fight Conor Benn and lose, Canelo probably gone. You know what I'm saying? Like, what is bye, like the NSYNC joint? and Canelo probably bye. So yeah. Docu Bay Jr. is going to come out hands down, spamming uppercuts and get lit up and run the facts. I agree. I exactly like that. I see Iglesias is fighting our main event in Canada next, so maybe they'll go ahead and set up in Billy. Yeah, hopefully. But I don't know. Even if you're in Billy though, like, because in Billy's #1 in a sanctioning body as well. So I think he's #1 in 2 sanctioning bodies. So even Christian and Billy, you're gunning for Canelo as well. That's the thing. Like, everybody's gunning for Canelo, because even Diego Pacheco, who's the #1 in WBO, he's gunning for Canelo. So like, those are the only 2 that are really interesting at 168. But anybody at 168 is more interesting than Chris Eubank, in my personal opinion. You know, I don't think, like you said, he's gonna get touched, similar to Jamel Charlo, right? He's gonna get touched and, you know, get dropped, and then he's going to survive the rest of the fight. And I'm not mad at Jamel Charlo, though, because at least Jamel Charlo was an undisputed champion. So you could kind of pitch that, you know, as undisputed versus undisputed, even though it's 2 undisputed in 2 weight classes separation, you know what I'm saying? But at least, you know, we could still kind of go for it a little bit. I would have preferred Big Charlo, Jamal Charlo versus Cinnamon, but it is what it is, so. But yeah, this one, like, he's not even a champion. How can you can't kick this as an undisputed versus undisputed? You can't kick it as an undisputed versus champion. You can't kick it as a up and coming bottom mind in the 160-pound division. You can't kick it as nothing, because he's none of these things. He's just a popular guy in England. That's the only thing. Like, and no disrespect to Chris Eubank, that's just the truth. That fight is trash. I'm not gonna lie. That fight is trash, bro. If that fight happens, I ain't gonna lie. We might need to switch up the emotes. So I ain't gonna lie. That's, like I said, I prefer top 10. I prefer him to fight somebody in the top 10 at 168, even if I don't know him. At least they're in your division. Like, that is trash. Yeah, that's trash. And then in other news, man, we have some other things I want to talk about as well. Devin Haney welcoming a potential fight versus Jack Catterall on social media. Jack Catterall said I saw this tweet initially. So initially, how the tweet went was Devin Haney responded to Regis Prograis saying that Jack Catterall was one of the best fighters that he fought, or the best fighter that he fought. And Devin Haney said, I whooped Regis Prograis worse than Jack Catterall, which is true. You know, he did. He dropped him. Jack Catterall dropped him twice, but Regis Prograis got dropped by Devin Haney, and he essentially got washed. I believe the score was literally on all 3 scorecards unanimously 120 to 107. I don't think he won a round, or whatever. No, sorry, what would that be? Yeah, because he got dropped. Yeah, I think it was 120 to 107. I was gonna say it would be 108, but no, he got dropped, so I think it was 107. Yeah, 120, 107 on all 3 scorecards. So he did whoop him worse. I think he's telling the truth, but, you know, maybe him getting dropped twice, or the timing, or whatever it is with Regis, he felt like this was his best opposition. You know, I don't really argue with people when they say who's the best fighter they fought. But anyway, Devin Haney took exception to that and said, no, I'm the best that he won. He said Regis Prograis is just bitter, but I'm the best fighter that beat him. And then so Jack Catterall responded and said, big respect, champ. I'm ready when you are. Like, he took it as a challenge, like saying, okay, let's figure out who beat him the best, and let's fight each other. Who really is the best? And then he said, be careful what you ask for. That's how Devin Haney responded to that. And I think that's a good response. You know what I'm saying? They're fighters. Yeah, man. Be careful what you ask for. Let's see the fight. And then Devin Haney responds to this. Only one person could make the fight with Jack Catterall. That's Turkey Al-Sheikh. Excuse me? Only one person could make the fight with Jack Catterall, and that's Big Turk.
What?
I don't understand that, because the reason why I don't understand that is because Jack Catterall is a matchroom fighter. He works with Eddie Hearn. You know, that's Eddie Hearn's promotional company, and Devin Haney has a history with them. And you can say, oh, they fell out, but Devin Haney just made it very he made it very public that he just asked Eddie Hearn for tickets in the last Saudi event. So you're comfortable enough in your relationship with Eddie Hearn to ask him for some tickets, but you're not comfortable enough to do business. Like, you're not comfortable enough to negotiate. Like, why is Big Turk the only you know, to me it just sounds like, okay, I'm talking like I want to fight you, but at the same time, I ain't really trying to fight you unless Big Turk comes with a super lucrative deal. And that's the only thing that's kind of making me a little hesitant with Big Turk, because and I said this before. I said that I don't get why everybody's hating on Big Turk. The only negative to me is all out of fear and what could happen. And one of that, fear could be used as an acronym for false evidence appearing real. But everything he's done has been great. But hypothetically, and potentially we could think of like the ways that could be troublesome for boxing in the future. Like, what if Big Turk doesn't want to do boxing anymore? Then I think people will get used to certain ways and certain things happening and not happening anymore. Maybe it'll turn people away from boxing more, leave a void in boxing. But also, what if people get used to only fighting under circumstances, whatever the circumstances is, whether it's more money, whether it's easier negotiations, whether it's the location, whatever it is, whether they get used to things happening in a certain way and they don't want to go back to the old traditional ways. And what if the old traditional ways is the only option? Like, I could see Devin Haney not fighting because I'm just giving this is what he said, I could see him not fighting because Big Turk's involvement's not there. But it's like, Jack Catterall, that's a good fight. Like, that's a pretty big fight too. And I'm saying, if I'm Jack Catterall, I would be going for a title. I would want Teofimo, the winner of Leo Paro and Richard Hitchens, the winner of Alberto Puello and Sandor Martin, or Jose Rayo Valenzuela. I would want a title shot. However, Devin Haney's a big fight, so I would probably make an exception for Devin Haney, or I don't know who else at 140 that's a big name. That's really it, I guess. Yeah, so I would make an exception for Devin Haney because that's a big name. But other than that, I want a title fight. But I don't get why Big Turk's the only one that can make that happen. I don't understand that at all. Let me hit the chat. Regis Prograis will have respect for UK fans no matter what he does now because he showed grace and humility. Facts, right? Regis is a beast. He kept mentioning bare knuckle as an option. Very good opportunity for older. Devin Haney, a whole lot of lip on. Yeah, a whole lot of lip on him. I'm telling you, a whole lot of lip. He needs a little less lip, a little more grip. You know what I'm talking about? Haney has said that because he knows he will make triple on the Riyadh card. I mean, that's common sense, right, Jay? We know that. But I'm saying, like, I'm not literally asking why. We all know it's a money, but that shouldn't be the case. Like, you're not gonna fight unless you're not gonna fight unless Big Turk's involved now. Like, that's the only way we can make fights now is if Big Turk is. So there's no such thing as other ways to make fights. Like, that's the only way that you're negotiating now is through Big Turk. Like, I'd understand if he said that Big Turk is the only way a Teofimo fight can happen. Okay, bet, because Teofimo's on top rank with Bob Arum. Devin Haney's doing his thing, but Devin Haney has a history of working with Eddie Hearn and Matchroom. You know what I'm saying? He was so much so that he expected Eddie Hearn and Matchroom to put up a purse bid for his last potential fight between him and Sandor Martin. He didn't do a purse bid. So he was mad at Eddie Hearn for that. So that lets you know that they have a relationship established. It'll be different if it was between Devin Haney and Teofimo, like I said, who Teofimo's with top rank and Bob Arum. Okay, maybe he needs Big Turk to come and facilitate and middleman that fight to happen. But you have a history with Matchroom. Even if it was like Devin Haney and Gervonta Davis, okay, bet. If he said, oh, only Big Turk can make that happen. Okay, I get it. I give you that as well. But like I said, it just doesn't. I just don't understand that. You know what I'm saying? Like, we gotta lock in, like, even if it was Ryan Garcia, because we know the issues that they have, and plus he's with Golden Boy, like, maybe like, okay, Big Turk's the only way I'll get in that ring, because Big Turk's gonna, I'll overlook the cheater, I'll overlook the cheater Ryan Garcia.
We do not let people who are on the juice discuss real athletes. That's all.
Because of Big Turk could give you the bag that's gonna maybe overlook those infractions, you know what I'm saying? Then I get it. But you talk about Jack Catterall who's with Eddie Hearn, that doesn't make sense. Like, that just looks, and I hate to say this because I don't judge nobody's pockets, and you're supposed to get as much money as you can. I can't knock him for that, but that does look a little greedy, and that just like, to me, that's just like nonsense. I don't understand that. Like fights should be able to happen without Big Turk facilitating it. You know what I'm saying? Now, but if you want to go the route of making a league and make it one belt and make it like a UFC business model, and but replace Dana White with Big Turk and replace MMA or UFC with boxing, then okay, then that means that Big Turk will have to be an intricate part, an important part in every process of making all the fights. So then when Big Turk also wants to put you, it's just opened up a can of worms, because now if you want, okay, Big Turk only make you and Jack Catterall, okay, well Big Turk probably gonna want you and Gervonta. Don't say no reasons why you can't make that fight now. You know what I'm saying? don't give me no reason why you can't fight Shakur Stevenson if that's what Big Turk wants, because that's what you're saying. You're saying only Big Turk can make your fight. So okay, so let's make all the fights, and Big Turk gonna put you in there with some heat. You know that. So don't do one that's convenient now. It could potentially look bad. But yeah, man. So I just think that is I just think that just looked a little, that ain't look good in my opinion. But that's just my personal opinion on that. I didn't really understand that, you know, unless you're talking about, you know, a way that doesn't look too good. But don't forget to hit that like button, man. There's an element of legacy that I think a lot of modern fighters don't care for. For the last 20 years, rarely has the best fought the best. That is why UFC has overtaken boxing in the US. Yeah, I think that I mean, I don't really mind that, man. I think sometimes we're too hard on fighters with legacy, because we in my personal opinion, we like to impose or project our own feelings, and a lot of times we don't go for legacy in our own lives. You know what I'm talking about? So we worried about somebody else chasing legacy. What about the legacy that we establishing? You don't have to be an athlete to leave a legacy. You don't have to be a celebrity to leave a legacy. You know what I'm saying? So I think a lot of times, in my personal opinion, we assume that these fighters all want legacy, and what is that legacy? You know, like I think it's a good quote. Is shout out to my boy. I like Russell Westbrook. He's one of my favorite basketball players, right? And he said, "Hey man, a lot of people always talk about me lacking the championship. Of course, I want to be a champion, but my legacy, I'm already a champion. I made it to the NBA. I took care of my moms. I took care of my family. I changed the generational gap as far as wealth goes in my family. I established them as I gave them all opportunities, you know what I'm saying, through my hard work and my effort. So some people making it to the league that's their legacy. You know, that's what they wanted to do, and there's nothing wrong with that. Some people want to be like a LeBron or Michael Jordan or a Kareem Abdul-Jabbar or Steph and want to be the greatest, but some people want to just be a champion, like in boxing. Some people think that, oh, this guy needs to get undisputed for his legacy. What if he doesn't want to be undisputed? What if he just wanted to be a champion? What if that was his goal and that he never thought about or even considered or desired to be undisputed? Because you can still be great in this sport and not be undisputed, right? That's what these guys did. That's what those guys in the chat did, right? Floyd never been undisputed. He's still all-time great, if not considered one of the GOATs. Manny Pacquiao's a legend, all-time great, one of the GOATs. He never got undisputed. So this notion that people have to do what other people want them to do for their legacy is stupid to me. And I also don't think that you can't do both simultaneously. I think you can fight for money and legacy. Does that mean that every fight has to be a legacy fight? So like, even with Canelo fighting Chris Eubank, I don't dislike it because of legacy. I dislike it because it's trash. I think Canelo's legacy is already established. But then there's people that think that his legacy is dependent on David Benavidez, which I don't really understand, because Canelo already had his legacy. Like, Canelo is the one that's been in there with Hall of Famers. Canelo's the one that's been in there with all-time greats. Canelo's the one that's been undisputed, the first ever super middleweight division. He's the one that's been a champion all the way to light heavyweight. So how does his legacy depend on a guy who hasn't been in there with one Hall of Famer or all-time great, or been undisputed, or even really been a real champion? How does the legend's legacy depend on that guy when that guy's chasing this guy for his own legacy? Now, would we like that fight? Yes, I want David Benavidez and Canelo. To me, that's one of the biggest fights to be made in boxing. But we have to separate the two. I think sometimes we talk too whimsically about things and we just throw everything in one pot. No, Canelo is a legend with or without Benavidez. Now, if he fights Benavidez and he beats Benavidez, that would add more to his legacy. But his legacy, that's like saying Floyd Mayweather needed to fight Paul Punisher Williams for his legacy. No, he didn't. Obviously, his legacy is intact. But remember, for a little bit, everybody was saying, oh, no, Floyd needs to fight Paul Williams. Floyd needs to fight Errol Spence. Floyd needs to fight Keith Thurman. Floyd needs to fight Tim Bradley. Floyd needs to fight... Shut up. Floyd don't need... You know what I'm talking about? But yeah, that's a good topic, right, Jed? Yeah. So I do agree with you that... I do agree that fighters aren't fighting each other as much. But I don't know how much we can say that they don't care about legacy, because it depends on your perspective on legacy. Every fight simply can't be a legacy fight, right? Exactly. But no matter which way you look at it, the top have mostly avoided each other for a long time, and it's hurt boxing both commercially and reputation. I agree. I agree at certain divisions. Like, as much as I like Tank, you know, Tank and Cinnamon are my 2 favorite fighters right now. I think what you just said is applicable to the 135-pound division and maybe 140. You know, let's be frank. Let's be frank. I think that's applicable to Teofimo, Gervonta, Devin Haney, and Shakur Stevenson, and Lomachenko right now. I know people want to exclude Lomachenko, but we're going to include him because, matter of fact, let me rephrase that. Let me say him first. Lomachenko, Gervonta, Shakur, Devin Haney, Teofimo. I think it's applicable to those 5. You know, because they aren't too adamant about fighting each other. I know Devin Haney and Lomachenko fought, and I know Teofimo and Lomachenko fought. Teofimo was the underdog. Teofimo became the takeover after he beat Lomachenko. The reason why I think that's important is because nobody thought Teofimo was going to win. That was a shocker. You know what I'm saying? We thought that was just another notch on Lomachenko's belt, but Teofimo surprised everybody. But anyway, like, those guys aren't adamant about fighting each other, so I think it's applicable there. But I mean, look what David Benavidez is doing, right? David Benavidez just as much as I was talking about David Benavidez and Canelo's legacy not dependent on him, I gotta applaud David Benavidez. David Benavidez just signed to fight David Morrell. That is nothing but a legacy fight. Like, that, to me, that's a stupid fight. If you're David Benavidez, I think that's a dumb fight. I think the risk severely outweighs the reward. And if your risk greatly exceeds your reward, then that's a stupid fight. I love it. Don't get me wrong. That don't mean that it's not a fight. It's a fight for the fans, but it's a fight for the fans only. Because if David Benavidez beats David Morrell, people are just gonna say, "Oh, he's supposed to win," because that's how people are. Like, we don't give nobody no credit. We're gonna say, "Oh, he's supposed to win," because what? Because David Morrell only has 11 wins. He's only 11-0 or 12-0 or something like that. He doesn't have that much experience. But if David Benavidez loses, people are going to say, "Oh, man, David Morrell, man, he's the next guy up." David Benavidez can kiss that Canelo fight goodbye. He could kiss being established as one of the greats and one of the most ducked goodbye. Like, David Morrell doesn't have a belt. David Morrell doesn't really have a name, unless you're a boxing purist. David Morrell doesn't really have much. You know what I'm saying? So while it is a fight for the fans, it's only for the fans. So I disagree with what you're saying, because I think that there are fighters fighting for legacy. I mean, look at Emmanuel Navarrete. Emmanuel Navarrete just moved up and fought Dennis Berinchyk. He got clapped. He got clapped, but he moved up. What was that for? That was for legacy. You see what I'm saying? So there's fighters that are fighting for legacy. You know, I just think that you know, the fights that we want to, like some divisions, yes, I think really the 135-pound division. I mean, even Canelo fighting Bivol, people say, "Oh, that was a miscalculation," but that was the second time going to light heavyweight. You could disrespect it if you want, but that was a attempt at legacy. He was moving up to 175 and fighting Dimitri Bivol, undefeated fighter who was just part of the undisputed championship at light heavyweight. You know what I'm saying? Who beat guys like Gilberto Ramirez, who's a champion at cruiserweight right now. He was 44-0 when Bivol beat him. He beat guys like he beat Cinnamon, you know what I'm saying? And he beat guys like John Pascal, former champion. So I think that is a legacy fight. So I think there are fighters fighting. Look at Daniel Dubois. Daniel Dubois wants a rematch with Usyk. You know what I'm saying? Usyk made him quit. No mas. That's a legacy fight. You know what I'm saying? He wants legacy. So now I think there's fighters fighting for legacy. I just think that there's certain divisions, what you just said, is applicable to certain divisions. That division is 135. But as much as I like Tank and them, they don't seem to be fighting the toughest fights. I agree with that, but I don't think. I think a lot of fighters are fighting for legacy. I just think we don't. When they do, like Terrence Crawford's fighting for legacy. Terrence Crawford's calling out Canelo. People say, "Oh, he just wants a payday," because people are disrespectful and they're just condescending towards other people's efforts. But that is a legacy fight. He wants to fight. Of course, it comes with money. What's wrong with having legacy and money simultaneously? But Terrence Crawford just moved up to 154, beat an undefeated champion at his debut at a higher weight division. That's legacy. There's a lot of fighters fighting for legacy. Jerron Boots Ennis, he's trying to get undisputed. None of the other champions want to fight him. You know what I'm saying? I will say that, you know, as much as I think people were overreaching and putting excessive pressure on Brian Norman Jr. alone, which I thought was very ungangster, you know, very not gangster. But him wanting to fight Barrios, he's fighting for legacy. Him wanting to fight Stanionis, him wanting to fight Brian Norman Jr., all that is legacy. So I disagree with that. I think the majority of fighters are fighting for legacy. I just think that some fighters we get aggravated with certain divisions that aren't fighting with legacy. Good morning, Karma. Good morning, Karma in the building. We got my boy Illuminati in the building. We got CJ in the building. He said That's so true. Boxing fans won't get facts. We will not give Benavidez credit, bro. We would not give Benavidez any credit. That's why let me hit you with this because you preaching right now. He said that's so true.
Yeah.
Boxing fans won't give Benavidez any credit.
Yeah.
But we'll give Morrell all the credit.
Yeah.
Plus, he still won't get the Canelo fight.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, bro. So that David Benavidez or David Morrell is only a legacy fight because there's no reason for David Benavidez to fight that dude. So shout out to David Benavidez, man. He one of the realest. He like Errol Spence. Like I tell people all this all the time. I was just telling I can't remember whose chat I was in. I think I was in my boy Just Deuce chat. This was a while ago. When the fight was just made, and I was like, bro, I don't understand how people don't like Errol Spence and David Benavidez and guys like that. Like all they do is fight. Like they fight to their own detriment. Like there's no reason for David Benavidez to fight Dave Morrell besides the fact that he wants to please the fans. So salute to him. So no matter if he wins or loses, we should salute this fight because that fight is only a legacy fight. That makes no sense for David Benavidez to fight Dave Morrell. Absolutely none. And if he loses, we're gonna treat him like trash. Wait, how Canelo KO Kovalev at 175 but lose to Bivol? Well, Kovalev wasn't exactly the crusher at that moment, so it's different, man. He wasn't exactly the crusher right at that moment, but he already lost to Andre Ward. And Bivol's a much better boxer too, you know. But Kovalev's a bigger puncher, hence the crusher, but he wasn't as Bivol is one of the best boxers we've seen at 175, to be honest with you. To be fair, timing and fight style. Stylist is my boy Ty in the building. Now I'm not saying he's the best, you know what I'm saying? I'm not sleeping on Roy or stuff like that, but Bivol is one of the best one of the best boxers from an agility standpoint, and that's why it's so impressive that like I don't care if it was a robbery or I don't care if it was controversial because I don't think it was a robbery. I don't care that Beterbiev won because Beterbiev is a beast too. You know what I'm saying? He's one of the best punchers and boxer punchers that we've seen too. I think that's why I said I thought that fight was so great, man. No matter if you had Bivol slightly winning or Beterbiev slightly winning, it's not a robbery because it was such a close fight. Literally could have went either way. So I just thought that was a great fight. Both men performed so well. Both men had their best and toughest task in front of them, and somebody came out on top. And it was Beterbiev, and that was a great fight, man. Can't knock it. But yeah, so next up, I want to talk about what's next for Regis. The meat and potatoes is what we want to talk about today. Let me read what Jay said. Sorry, he said Eddie Hearn and Frank Warren have caused a lot of trouble in the UK. AJ Fury would have happened. I agree with that, Jay. Facts. AJ Fury should have happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, facts. It's only down to the Saudis that will probably happen. Yep. When the Riyadh gravy train ends this week. Yeah, facts. I agree. We got Cito in the building. Check this out. Ben Venus is a great fighter. I saw him as a young man here in Phoenix, Arizona. He's good. He's established that people are gonna hate. I'm a huge fan. Ain't nothing wrong with that, Cito. Talk your stuff. My boy Ryan Fraser, Dr. Boxing, talk up north. You a doctor today. I didn't mean to say doctor, but you know, I say Dr. Boxing talk. I see boxing talk, so I said Dr. Boxing. Ryan Fraser, boxing talk up north. Let me not mess with my boy's name, man. Shout out to my boy Ryan Fraser, man. Boxing talk up north. You know what I'm saying? Big north. You know, Regis, my definite voice. At the end of the day, Bivol is stylistically a way better fighter at 165 than with facts. I don't get, like I said, man, people just, if a fight doesn't go their way or the person that doesn't win that they want to win, all of a sudden they can't give nobody no credit, man. I don't understand, bro. Like, to me, it's so easy to give credit. I feel like you could be critical too. There's nothing wrong with critiquing. I critique. If you listen to me, I critique people all the time. You know, but I'm just not ridiculous with my critiques. I'm not hypercritical, bro. And that's the social media age has made people hypercritical, made people unimpressed with everything. You know, it's crazy, bro. And the people that are always unimpressed are the people that don't accomplish nothing. You know the people that give the most credit are usually the people that accomplish the most themselves because they know what it takes. I promise you, like some of the most distinguished people, like even in sports, right? You would see like other boxers or trainers or not even forget boxing. You will see other celebrities go and appreciate what top boxers do, or you'll see other people in athletics or academia. They'll go watch a movie and give so much credit for an actor or actress or any type of thespian. It's just like the people that have stuff that work for stuff or have done stuff. They always seem to be the most recognizing of and acknowledging of efforts, man. And you know, so no matter, you don't have to be popular to do something credible or noteworthy. But anyway, do you think Bivol chose to fight Canelo as style is close? Wait, let me read that again. Do you think Bivol chose to fight Canelo as style is close to Beterbiev, and it was a good way to prepare as it was against a naturally lighter man? So do I think Bivol fought Beterbiev as preparation for? Sorry, do I think Bivol fought Canelo as preparation for Beterbiev? Nah, I don't think so. I think Bivol did what anybody else would do with the offer to fight Cinnamon. Take that shit. that's big money. You know what I'm talking about? I don't think he, because like I said, I think Bivol is, maybe I'm giving him too much credit, but I think Bivol is I think Bivol, Terrence Crawford, I look at them as even Beterbiev. You know what I'm saying? I look at them as even Tank. I could throw in this and Canelo too. I look at these guys, certain guys I look at as they prioritize their career and what's best for them, and then how can I put this? Like they're in tune with themselves, you know, and that's dope. You know, I think that they do stuff that will either benefit them or their goals. Not really. I feel like they see themselves as their biggest challenge. Like, as long as they're the best version of themselves, they could beat anybody. That's how I think that they think. I don't know if that's true, but that's how I feel like. So I think that with Canelo, of course, Bivol wants to prepare for Beterbiev, but I don't think Canelo sees. I don't think Bivol sees Canelo as preparation for Beterbiev because, like you said, he's too small. Even with the pressure, it still wouldn't emulate Beterbiev. I don't think, because I still think that their fighting style is different. Like, I think Beterbiev, he has pressure, but Canelo's like one shot pressure. Beterbiev is like accumulation punch pressure. Even Bivol has said that too at post fight. So I don't. While it's similar from a pressure style, I think yeah, I don't think that would be the best option to prepare. Like for example, like Williams Zepeda, right? Williams Zepeda is fighting. Who did he just fight? That was a left-hander, southpaw, Giovanni Cabrera, and then he's fighting Tevin Farmer, and all this to fight Shakur. Like, bro, just be the best you. Like, I understand it. Like, but Zepeda has like 50 fights or 30-something fights. If you're not comfortable fighting a southpaw by now, you never gonna be. You see what I'm saying? Like it's so funny because these clowns, you know, these quote unquote boxing experts, you know, they find a way to give people that they like any type of credit or any type of grace or any type of opportunity to have an excuse, but then they're so strict and stringent on other folks. Like I saw on Pro Box that they said that Williams Zepeda deserves a title shot. Well, Williams Zepeda had a title shot. He called out Shakur obliged, and he didn't want to fight him. You know, and then they say, oh, well, he's doing the right thing. He's fighting southpaw after southpaw to help prepare for Shakur. Bitch, he got 31 fights. If he's not comfortable fighting the southpaw by now, if you don't know me by now, you will never ever know me. Something like that. Yeah, if he ain't comfortable after 30-something fights fighting the southpaw, then he ain't never gonna get it. He ain't never gonna get it. So so no, I don't. But anyway, I think that Bivol and them, they think that the best version of themselves, and now they can help prepare. Yeah, you're right. I can see what you're saying, but nah, I don't think so. I think he did it for the money, and not just the money, but also the stature, the status that comes with it. I think that helps towards his goal in order to be. I think it helped to get his name out there so he could get more money on his way to get more legacy. I think he wants to fight for the belt. Like, even when he told Jamal Charlo, he was like, if you have a belt, I'll fight you. I believe him. Remember him and Jamal Charlo were talking? Jamal was like, I want to fight you in the future. This is a while ago. He was talking to Bivol, and Bivol was like, yeah, I'll fight you if you have a belt. If you get a belt, we'll fight. And then Jamal was like, all right, bet, if I get a belt at 175 or whatever it was. I remember exactly how the conversation went, but I think he wants to fight. But Canelo is bigger than the belts. You know, it's like Floyd. Like, that's what happens when you're facing boxing. So you could kill two birds with one stone. Yeah, I don't think that was a preparation. But that's just my opinion. But I'm not. I see what you're saying. But yeah, you said Canelo's preparation crazy. That's crazy. Hey, don't do my boy Cinnamon now. Or watch him. Hold on now, Smoochie. See, here's something I don't comprehend anymore. Why is it most boxers, after they take one loss or two losses, now people are so quick to label them as watching? Yeah, exactly. That's us. And then we'd be the same ones that say, oh, why don't these fighters fight more or fight more dangerous fights? Because they know that if they lose once or have one blemish on their record, then we're done with them. Unless they're the face of boxing. Do you remember fighters of the past, the throwback classic boxers that would take multiple losses and still come back and be a champion? Yeah. But that was a different fan base too. Like I said, it's a social media age. You have to be perfect. You know what I'm saying? Like every time LeBron James loses a game, there goes his legacy of being compared to Jordan. You know, it's like everybody wants perfection and they're nowhere near perfect themselves. Unless you're Kobe or Jordan, they'll give you a little praise and hate you for thinking you can strive closer. Right, exactly, Ty. The dog got the choir vocals. The pay that's 4 guaranteed title fights. He just needs to be like, thank you, Ty. All four. WBO, WBC, WBA, IBF, all four. Also, at the time, Beterbiev was looking like it would never happen. Yep, that's a fact too. Yep, because you know the whole political thing in Russia and you know how that goes. So yeah, I just look at any fight with Canelo. No disrespect to the fighters that want to fight him, and I don't mean this in a disrespectful way because I'm not ignorant. I think that anybody that wants to fight Canelo that's not his division, that's really not David Benavidez or Dave Morrell, it's just a money thing, you know. And even some in his division is just a money thing. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like Edgar Berlanga, that was just a money thing. That wasn't no legacy or nothing like that. It was a money thing, you know. But, you know, and that's okay. Like, the only people I think want to fight him for legacy is probably like Terrence Crawford right now, Caleb Plant for the rematch, David Benavidez, David Morrell, and probably Jamal Charlo. Those are probably the only 5 that want to fight. I'll even give Jaime Munguia too. Jaime Munguia, I thought Jaime Munguia wanted to take over for, you know, and be the Mexican star. So, but there's very few fighters that I think, you know, even Diego Pacheco being number 1 or Christian and Billy being number 1, I'm gonna be honest, I don't really think that they believe they could beat him. I'm not gonna lie. Maybe I'm sorry to Pacheco and sorry to Billy. My bad boxing talk up north. My bad Ryan. I know that's your Canadian brethren. I don't think that they could beat him right now. I ain't gonna lie. Especially after his last performance against Sergey Derevchenko, even with his arm hurt, they both had their arm hurt. Nah, I'm not going. There ain't no way you think you could struggle like that with Derevchenko and think you could beat Canelo. But we'll see though. You know, maybe I'm being disrespectful right now. I don't mean it like that, but I gotta be honest as well. Speaking of Plant, what's next for Magumby? I don't know, but I'm gonna try to watch it if it's broadcast. Cause I like Trevor Magumby. Magumby. Imagine, I like that Magumby. That's crazy. Imagine Joe Frazier, Muhammad Ali, George Foreman, Lance Lewis, Mike Tyson, James Toney said the money ain't right. He on the wrong side of the street. We friends. We can't fight. Yeah. Yep. He said it is dangerous, man, but becomes less dangerous when moving up to higher divisions. Bivol took a risk fighting Canelo, but not as risky as Beterbiev. Therefore, it helps prep. Well, that's true, but you gotta understand, Bivol is at 175. So Bivol is not really taken to. That's the thing. You gotta understand, like Kovalev and Bivol, you can't forget that Canelo's not at 175. Canelo's not even. To be honest, tell me the last time Canelo did not look small at 168. So I disagree. I don't think it's too much of a risk. I don't think it's too much of a risk at all. I don't think it's risky. Of course, it's risky to fight anybody, but Beterbiev is the guys. Those are the guys. You know, like Ryan said, it was a political thing. It was factors outside of boxing why that fight took so long, you know. But no, I don't consider it as an excessive risk. I mean, if you want undisputed, you got to go through the other champion, and that's who Beterbiev is. So I'm not going to give Bivol or Beterbiev too much credit for fighting each other. I mean, they both clearly said they want an undisputed, and that's just where the path went through. They went through each other. So, but Bivol, a bigger guy fighting a smaller guy is never. I don't consider that risky. I think that it was just Canelo's such a beast that you think that Canelo's gonna overcome. You know. So nah, it's like nah, hell no. I don't think it's risky because even if you lose, you're probably not gonna get destroyed because it's a smaller guy. So no, I like Bivol too, and I think that's one of his best wins because of what Canelo accomplished. But I'm not gonna give him too much credit as far as saying that's a risky fight. That's a common sense fight. I'll take that damn fight. I ain't damn boxer. But Bivol wanted the rematch at 168 for Canelo's belt. So my guy sitting there said no. Yep, yeah, exactly. Yep, he wanted. But I mean, but still a bigger guy coming down. You know, I wouldn't fight that either if I'm Canelo. Only way I would do that is if I had to strike a deal to get 175 undisputed. Like he'd say, okay, I'll fight you on 175 undisputed if you fight me for your 168. Like if he was negotiating that, but why would I? That's the thing, man. But like I said, I have a different perspective though. I don't think that fighters should fight. I don't think you have to fight every fight, you know, and I don't think that like I said, I give fighters a lot of credit for fighting guys outside of their division, especially when you talk about going up. So that's like saying that I don't know. I don't know who's a big cruiser like Jay Apataya. If he can make 175 and he calls out Bivol, if Bivol doesn't fight him, is that bad? I don't think so. But yeah, all right. So let's get right to the meat and potatoes, man. I talked about a lot of stuff, sidetrack. Let's get on the the main thing. 50 minutes in, let's talk about Regis, man. Shout out to Regis Prograis, man. I think first off, let's talk about Jack Catterall. Actually, Jack Catterall beat Regis Prograis this weekend, and the fights that build up to that, man. I'm not gonna lie, man. We saw Campbell Hatton fight James Flint for the rematch. I don't know what. So once again, what J Ed was talking about earlier, right? Legacy and people's expectations for themselves, and their goals don't always match our goals as fans. Campbell Hatton, if he's enjoying boxing, he should keep doing it. If Campbell Hatton likes being maybe a local star, a domestic star, he should keep doing it. Maybe, you know what I'm saying, a national star potentially. I don't even think that's in the cards for him. But let's say he wants to be a star in England, then keep doing it. But as far as being a world contender, title holder like his father, Ricky Hitman Hatton, I think Campbell Hatton may need to go reassess some things, because no disrespect to James Flint, but Campbell Hatton, he should be able to beat James Flint. And even if you lose, you should be able to look better than that. To me, Campbell Hatton looks like a guy that is just, he's going to be good if he can be bigger than you, stronger than you, or outlast you. I didn't really see that he improved from a technical standpoint, but during that fight, I thought he improved from an endurance standpoint. He got tired way earlier in the first fight than he did in the second fight, so I applaud him for that. He definitely put the work in as far as keeping his stamina and his gas tank and his endurance up. But as far as technique goes, I didn't really see a difference, and I just think that he shouldn't have lost that fight against James Flint. It was a close fight, but that fight shouldn't even be close, and I think that with Campbell Hatton, I was disappointed in what I saw. But like I said, I don't want to tell somebody not to do what they love. If you love it, keep doing it, because if you love it, then the money always should matter, but it shouldn't be as large of a factor, shouldn't be a significant factor. It's like this, right? I don't, if you start doing stuff once you get rich, you'll never start doing it, because you have to start somewhere, but he's different. He has his father's name behind him, so he's afforded a lot of opportunities that most fighters starting from getting it out the mud or starting from the bottom wouldn't be able to have, wouldn't be in that fortuitous situation. So he has access to the best gyms, the best trainers. People will be interested in him. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was just watching Creed, right? And then you see how, like, what's his name? Whatever, Michael B. Jordan's character's name. Not Apollo, that's his daddy. I don't remember his name. Donnie, I think it was Donnie. Adonis Creed, right? So Adonis Creed, once they found out he was a Creed, like, people became more interested. Like, not only opposition, but people that were willing to train against him and even train him too, and stuff like that, and him being part of the gym. So it's gonna spark interest. It's gonna, that even got Rocky out of, a lot of people were trying to get Rocky back to train, and him being Apollo Creed's son, in their relationship. Not saying that he did it for selfish reasons, but he did it because he felt like he knew, he knew his father. He felt like, hey man, if you're gonna do this, and I feel like I owe your daddy to give you the proper tutelage and stuff like that. So your name will grant you things. And I think with Campbell Hatton, his name granted him things and access and being around the boxing, and him just putting forth that, I don't know, presenting or demonstrating his skills or lack of is just not up to par. And I don't think that while he'll still have opportunities there, if he enjoys it, boom, then stick with it. You know what I'm saying? And you could be like doing local shows and stuff like that. But as far as your global appeal or being a world title contender, I don't think that's in the cards. But he is young still. How old is he? He's young. He could have a, like look at Daniel Dubois, right? Daniel Dubois, he had 3 losses when he was young. Yeah, Campbell Hatton's only 23. Maybe, maybe if he goes with the right trainer, or maybe to switch something up, maybe he needs to pay more attention to, saying certain technique things, maybe there's technical things that he's overlooking. He can still, he's only 23. Look at Daniel Dubois when he was 23, right? He lost to Joe Joyce, Usyk, and, some people called him a quitter, and now look at him. He's considered the top 3 heavyweight. So you can always bounce back. The redemption arc is real, but you gotta be locked in. You gotta be locked in and see how it goes. But yeah, I think Campbell Hatton, it just wasn't a good thing for him this weekend. And then we have another Englishman, William Crawler. Those of you who are unfamiliar with British boxing, Crawler, that's a big fighting family in England. You know, our English brethren and sister, and you know, Anthony Crawler. Last time we saw him, he was training Rhiannon Dixon. He's a trainer for Rhiannon Dixon. Rhiannon Dixon we just saw lose to Terry Harper, and I was very critical Anthony Crawler, because there was one time when Rhiannon Dixon went back to the corner. And, you know, when you're in the corner, you're supposed to get some instruction. You're supposed to receive some instruction. And if you're a trainer, you're supposed to give some instruction. So if you're a boxer, you look for instruction. If you're a trainer, you're ready to provide instruction. This man was talking. As she was coming to sit down, this man grabbed the water and was sipping on the water. Sipping on the water. I know that doesn't seem like a big deal. And I know it seems like I'm being super critical or over the microscope over his actions. But I think that was just, to me, I'd have slapped the bottle out of his hand. I ain't gonna lie. If I was Rhiannon Dixon, I'd have slapped the water out of his hand. Like, you supposed to be giving me I'm in a tough fight. I'm arguably losing right now. You want to sip water? You couldn't sip water in none of the 3 minutes that transpired while I was getting punched on? You couldn't sip water then? You can't wait after this minute and then sip water after? You want to sip water while you supposed to be? Nah, bro, I'd have slapped the bottle. But anyway, that's the last time we saw Anthony Crawler. But anyway, we see William Crawler, who's the youngest Crawler, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I believe he's the youngest. He stopped his opponent in the first round, and I thought it was trash. I'm not gonna lie. I thought it was indicative of, you know, somebody being coddled, somebody being protected. And I just feel like if you watch that fight, yeah, he hurt him, but the dude could have got a standing 8 count. The dude could have he wasn't looking like he was wobbled, you know what I'm saying, leg shaking, he couldn't stand up. He wasn't dropped, he wasn't bleeding, he wasn't, like, his hands weren't fully down. Like, there was no reason to stop that fight besides the fact that you're trying to purposefully and blatantly in broad daylight tell us this is who the next star of the UK is. I thought it was a trash effort. I feel like no matter who you are, everybody deserves a fair shake. Everybody trains, everybody, and even if they don't train, let it show in their lack of performance during the fight, but don't take something from them. Because if it was the other way around, if his opponent punched him and he kind of like backed up a little bit, and then the other guy started throwing a whole bunch of punches on William Crawler, that fight would not have been stopped. He would have been given an opportunity to bounce back and even go to his corner or survive. You know what I'm saying? So I thought that was trash, and I hate when I see stuff like that. And I'm not gonna lie, it's not William Crawler's fault, but at the same time, I'm not rooting for him. I'm gonna be honest with you. I feel like that was a blatant effort in broad daylight to rob somebody of an opportunity. I think that was trash. Let's see. Which boxer was the best, Junior or Son? Ooh, I don't know. Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather. Don't forget, Floyd Mayweather Jr. is a junior. So I would go Floyd, Smoochie. But that's tough, though. That one swig of water, yeah, that pissed me off. I ain't gonna lie. That was trash. Like, I would have fired him right there. So shout out to Rihanna. And then Smoochie, she went on and lost the fight. I'm not saying that moment is what made her lose, but every moment counts. You know what I'm saying? What happened when you were sipping that water? If you could have told her, you know what I'm saying? If you could have picked up a little pattern in Terry Harper's movements or punches or something that could have helped her out for the remainder of the fight. Yeah, that was trash. So Floyd Mayweather for juniors and best third, I'd say Floyd May Schofield, who's not a junior. Yeah, he's a third. True. Yep. His dad. Yeah. I know Floyd Schofield's a third. Said Floyd May. Yeah, I would say Floyd Mayweather for juniors as well. Well, she just said son though. It doesn't have to be a junior. It could be a junior or a son. I would say Floyd Mayweather. I would also say, and to be fair too, Conor Benn and Chris Eubank Jr., they're not doing too bad for sons. They're just not world level, I don't think. You know, to be fair, they're not doing too bad. I mean, they're better than Julio Cesar Chavez, in my opinion, junior. Yeah, they're not doing bad, and yeah, I won't be going for this William Crawler guy. I thought that was trash. I don't like that, man. Like, that everybody deserves a fair shake. I don't care who your daddy is, your brother is, your auntie, your mama. Everybody's in the box, and everybody can get punched and get hurt. So everybody should be able to give a punch and get a chance to win. In 2024, like, current rising up. I might go with Emiliano Vargas then. I like Emiliano Vargas as a son coming up right now. I'm trying to think who else. So you're saying not just a junior and a son, but somebody whose father actually did the sport too. So we would take Floyd Schofield out then. I would probably say Emiliano Vargas off the top of my head coming up. I'm trying to think, unless somebody else could think of somebody else. I would say Emiliano Vargas as a, with his dad being Fernando Vargas. Yeah, that's what I think of right now. Let's keep going with the weekend recap. What else we saw? So let's go to just Jack Catterall, Regis Prograis. So that fight was good, man. I thought it was a good fight. It exceeded my expectations. It gave you everything you want. It was a high profile fight. Well, not the highest profile fight, right? But it was Jack Catterall's pretty established fighter. Regis Prograis, a former champion, established fighter, 2-time champion, and his last outing was against Devin Haney. Jack Catterall's last outing was against Josh Taylor, former undisputed champion. So they're pretty well known in the boxing realm, and they put on a good fight. You had knockdowns. You had two well-known fighters. You had 3 knockdowns, knocked down by each, and it was a close fight. It was a not close fight. It was an interesting fight. I thought it was closer than what the judges said, but they definitely had the right person winning. I don't want to nitpick, but I did think it was a little bit closer, not much though. Regis Prograis dropped Catterall in the 5th round. And it was more so like an instability thing. It was like, he threw a punch and he was kind of off balance, but it was still more like a flash knockdown. It was a legitimate knockdown, but Jack Catterall wasn't really hurt, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? It was just like he bounced back after, getting punched. The punch was what causes the lack of balance. So it was a legitimate knockdown. But it was a difference between Jack Catterall and Regis knockdown, because with Jack Catterall knocked out Regis, Regis was hurt. He dropped him again in the same round. He dropped him twice in the 9th round. So it was a 10-7 round. Man, I thought the round was good. I thought Regis Prograis put up a good fight. Even when he, apparently rolled his ankle, he still kept fighting like the soldier he is. So, you know what I'm saying? No limit soldier, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to Louisiana, you know what I'm saying? Master P. Hey, my guy, Cito said, what do skeleton dogs eat? Milk bones, I'm asleep. My boy dropping that bread, that cheese, that butter.
These biscuits.
He said, okay, Ty hit us with a sneaky one. Kentrell Deshaun Golden Jr., okay. Do you think Catterall can hang with the champs? Ryan, I'm not going to lie to you, bro. I do. I think that this performance, and this is what I was going to get to, Ryan. It's a good question, man. I'm going to open up the Discord later, too. I think that if anybody's available, Ty, Ryan, the usual suspects, or anybody new wants to join as well, you're more than welcome. But I think that this performance, while Regis is coming off of a loss where he got washed and shut out by Devin Haney unanimously, I do think that the way Jack Catterall beat Regis Prograis, who's known as a tough guy, who's known as a big puncher, he bounced back from getting dropped. He dropped him twice and hurt Regis Prograis. I think that this was a statement victory, and I think it lets people know they should have known. I always thought he was there, but now with this win, it lets you know, hey, I'm here. Everybody should know Jack Catterall's here now. I think that I personally believe that Jack Catterall should have got a title fight after beating Josh Taylor, because you could argue he beat him twice. But he did lose the first one technically, and he won the second one. But I think that with this win, I thought he should have got a title shot before that. Now he definitely deserves a title shot, unless he's gonna fight like somebody like Devin Haney when they've been talking in Twitter, because that's a big high profile fight. But no, I think that he definitely getting with the champs. I think him versus the winner of Alberto Puello and Sandor Martin's a good fight. I think him versus Rayo's a good fight. I think him versus the winner of Liam Paro and Richard Hitchens is a good fight. I think him versus Teofimo is a good fight. So I definitely think getting with the champs. Does he beat anybody clearly? I don't think so. I don't think he beats anybody clearly, but I think that he has a fair chance against anybody. I think it's pretty much 50-50. Like I like him versus Teofimo, and I would lean towards Jack Catterall. But I've said this before. But this fight even further pushes that thought of mine, because I thought that him beating Josh Taylor, look at Teofimo, despite all the ignorant racist bullcrap that he says, just speaking in the capacity of a boxer, he's a good fighter. He has the most longevity at 140, but he hasn't really hurt anybody at 140, so his power hasn't really translated. He just struggled against Steve Claggett, and he had a shitty performance against Jermaine Ortiz. Those his last 2 fights are terrible. Do I think that he won? Yeah, I think he won on both of them. I think he deserved the win against Jermaine Ortiz. I feel like Jermaine Ortiz tried to finesse the game by doing all that excessive running, and then Steve Claggett put up a good fight, but I think that Teofimo was the right person who won. But I think Jack Catterall, those versions of the version of Jermaine Ortiz that Teo fought, and then Steve Claggett, I think Jack Catterall beats them both easily. So I'm not saying that Jermaine Ortiz will fight that way, but if he fought that way, this is what I'm saying. If he fought that way against Jack Catterall, I think Jack Catterall beats him easy. But I think Jermaine Ortiz and Jack Catterall will be a good fight too, because I think Jermaine Ortiz, if the version that fought Loma, I think Jermaine Ortiz is a good fighter. But to me, I lost a lot of confidence in his method to win against Teofimo. I thought that was trash. I thought he tried to finesse boxing. But anyway, I think Jack Catterall definitely can hang, and I think this win over Rougarou was very up to stock. Now I do disagree with Eddie Hearn claiming that Jorge Linares he called him Jorge. That joke was funny, bro. He called Jorge Linares Jorge. That's how it's spelled though. Well, it's really spelled like with a J, so it's spelled like George. But so if you're gonna pronounce it, if you know to pronounce the J like the H sound, how do you not know to do the same for the G or something? Well, he called him Jorge. That joke had me rolling. Called him. But anyway, I don't think beating Jorge Linares is too impressive, even though Jorge Linares is a former champion, but he beat him in 2023. Jorge Linares was, well past his prime, but he's a good name, to have on your resume. Shout out to Jorge Linares. I think I don't think he gets as much credit as he deserves either as a former champion, but he's another guy that kind of fought slightly past his prime and stuff like that on the decline. So, but while Jack Catterall it is a good win, but by name only. But I am impressed with his Josh Taylor victory and now his Regis Prograis victory. So yeah, I think that what Jack Catterall could do, El Gato, the cat, I think that he was timing Regis very well with that left hand. I think he could. He seems like he thinks in there. We all know Teofimo is notorious for not having a game plan, implementing a game plan, definitely not executing a game plan. So I don't know what he does. I think he just works on his athleticism in training or whatever. Like I said, he operates like a dummy anyway, so there's no surprise there. But there's nothing that's cerebral about Teofimo when he fights. That's why he struggles so much. People say, oh, if the good Teofimo shows up versus the bad Teofimo. No, it's just Teofimo. It's just that if his style, his physicality can overwhelm you like he did against Loma, then he's going to do good. But if it can't, and his recklessness, you can capitalize off like Kambosos did, then he's gonna struggle. Like he doesn't look different. It's just that his opponent is different, and his opponent can handle certain things and can't handle certain things. So one he's gonna look like he's fighting down to his opponent. He's not fighting down to nobody. He just doesn't have a freaking game plan. He goes in there and his dumbass father says, oh, he doesn't need a jab. Like what boxer doesn't need a jab? You know what I'm saying? And then while you also can't cut off the ring and you look terrible against Jermaine Ortiz because you don't have a jab and you don't have the boxing acumen or fundamentals to be able to cut off a ring effectively. So he just looks and operates like a dummy. That's just what it is, you know what I'm saying? So he doesn't fight down to his opponents. It's just his opponents. He actually have game plans because they have the capacity and the cerebral cortex of a human, and he's operating with one of a maggot. You know what I'm saying, with his idiocy. So yeah, I think that I definitely think Jack Catterall could formulate a game plan to capitalize off of Teofimo's mistakes and exploit his vulnerabilities. And and expose his deficiencies like Jermaine Ortiz did. So I think that I definitely think he can hang with Teofimo. Now the winner of Richardson Hitchens and Liam Paro, I would lean towards Jack Catterall. I could be a prisoner of the moment, but Jack Catterall versus Hitchens, I would lean towards Catterall right now today. Liam Paro, I would say 60-40 for Liam Paro. And that doesn't mean I think Liam Paro is going to beat Richardson Hitchens now. I just think stylistically it's different. But I do think that Liam Paro is going to beat Hitchens anyway. And then Alberto Puello, I think, is a very difficult fight for Jack Catterall. I think Sandor Martin's a tough fight too, but I think Jack Catterall beats Sandor Martin. Alberto Puello, I don't know, but they're fighting, supposedly Jack Catterall. I mean Alberto Puello and Sandor Martin. So this is why he'll never rematch Sandor Martin. It doesn't fare well for him. Hey, facts, exactly. Talk to him, Ty. That's exactly why he won't rematch Sandor Martin. Yeah, you already know. It's sick of Teofimo. Yeah. I don't rock with Teofimo at all. I admit that be known. I don't play them any type of racial epithets or any type of disrespectful, condescending thing or prejudice or anything like that, discriminatory at all. So especially not towards the community that I feel a part of, because apparently people are cool with overlooking slights towards certain communities, and I'm part of that community that they tend to overlook. And I don't think anybody's I think everybody's feelings should be equally held to a standard. You know what I'm saying? Not just because you're part of this community. Like, you don't have to be part of the LGBTQ community for your feelings to matter. You don't have to be a woman for your feelings to matter. You don't have to be a Caucasian male for your feelings to matter. You don't have to be part of the Hispanic community for your feelings to matter, or the Asian community for your feelings to matter. You could be part of the Black community, your feelings should matter too. You know what I'm saying? So, but we tend to forget that. You know, because when somebody cheats somebody of the Black community, they say, oh, he should be tough. Oh, he should get it back in blood. Oh, he should be a gangster. well, go tell that girl that got punched on by what she thought was a dude or whatever, and she was from Italy. She cried. Go tell her to get it back in blood. You know what I'm saying? I mean, let's be fair, right? Let's tell everybody to get it back in blood. That's what we do, right? When you feel like you're slighted, go get it back in blood. That's the thing. Go get it back in blood. So if you're telling, you know, I'm not saying that you should feel bad for anybody, but if you're gonna feel bad for somebody, then feel bad for everybody, not just people that you feel are, you know, are victims. Anybody could be a victim. And no matter what you look or how tough you may think I am, if you do me wrong, you do me wrong. You know, if it goes to the cards, I can see Hitchens being able to win, but I honestly see Paul knocking Rich out. And I got Paul. I don't know about knockout, but I got Paul winning too. Where do mummies like to swim? The dead. I'm sleep. But yeah, discrimination shouldn't be tolerated for the Black community, the white community, the female community, the male community, Hispanic community, Christian community, the gay community, the straight community. Discrimination should be equally unacceptable everywhere from anybody, police, civilians alike. But anyway, yeah, I think Jack Catterall is I definitely think Jack Catterall has a chance against all the champions, man. I got Elgato, man. I like him, but like I said, I've been liking him for a while, man. I've been interested in what everybody else thinks too, you know, as far as Jack Catterall goes. Now Regis, you know, I think it's obvious where Jack Catterall goes from here, right? He goes to a world title fight or a high profile fight, which would be satisfied for him by him fighting somebody like Devin Haney. I think that'd be a good that to me, if I'm Jack Catterall, which I'm not, I would make an exception for Devin Haney, because like I say, he's a high profile fight. But any other thing I should be considering to fight, any fight I should be considering being involved in should be a title fight for me. So I would just be patient right now and see what happens with Richardson, Hitchens, and Parr, which is what he's been talking about, the winner of that. And try to get Teofimo, which is another thing he's been talking about, you know, with Eddie Hearn saying that I love to kick his ass. Hold on, let me show y'all real quick, bro. I retract back. He said, I retract back that back in blood statement. Last thing I told that the federal. I wasn't even talking about you, Ty. I don't even know what you referencing. I'm just saying, if we go tell Devin Haney to get it back in blood against Ryan Garcia, then everybody that's been slighted has to get it back in blood. Let's keep the same energy, bro. That's what I'm saying. So I'm not opposed to it, but then we all need to get it back in blood then. You know what I'm saying? Tell Frank Warren to get it back in blood when Chris Eubanks was talking trash at the podium. Don't be okay with him giving no cease and desist. Tell him to go get it back in blood, bro. You know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm saying? Bivall's wife's talking trash. Tell Bivall go get it back in blood. I'm just saying. I mean, what are we doing here? I'm not advocating for that, but I'm saying the people who are advocating for that, then advocate it all across the board. Go tell Bivall go get it back in blood. You know, when Dana White slapped his wife in front of everybody at New Year's Eve, go tell his wife to go get it back in blood. Don't call the police. You know what I'm saying? Go tell her go get it back in blood, man. You know. So when people say, "Oh, Terrence Crawford should fight Teofimo," if he's saying all these racist terms, well, okay. So anytime somebody discriminates against our Asian brethren and sister, tell that Asian brethren and sister go get it back in blood. You know, go tell somebody hit Sandy Ryan with a can of paint, go get it back in blood. It look like you have some blood on you, you know, with that red paint they threw on your ass. The guy that Devin Haney swung on at the circus, tell that dude to go get it back in blood. I keep going, man. Hey, check this out, though. Anytime somebody gets slighted, man, tell them to get it back in blood. That's what they tell people that look like me to do. Oshiki about to get Kensei back in blood. Yeah, he gotta have to lock in. Check this out. So this is what Eddie Hearn said about Teofimo and Jack Catterall.
I would love to bring Teofimo Lopez to Manchester as well and give him a good ass kicking.
I would love to see that, and Jack can do it.
Damn. You just gonna let the UK bruv call you out like that? You ain't gonna say nothing? You know what we say about people like that where I'm from. Tell them, Geechee.
Nigga, you was a bitch.
Go check out the last video, man. That was the intro to the last video if you ain't gonna check it out. Yes, sir. That was, Catterall called out Teofimo. Teofimo steady calling out, people calling people out, calling people out their name. He calling out people, calling people out their name. He calling people, Gervonta Tank Davis, who's at 135 below him, and calling out Terrence Crawford, who's 2 divisions above him. Calling them out and calling them out their name. Well, why don't you respond to Jack Catterall, who's calling you out right there? But you don't want to fight nobody in your weight class. That's why you turned down the Devin Haney fight, right? They be wanting Devin to crash out like. I was about to get back. Speaking of vampires and blood, why are vampires so bad at art? They only know how to draw blood. Absolutely, that's a good one. Obviously, but yeah. So I think that and people always bring out the Miguel Cotto thing. Miguel Cotto. Shout out to Miguel Cotto. I love Miguel Cotto for going and fighting Margarito after Margarito cheated him. However, it was never proven that Margarito cheated him. So those are not the same case. Number one. Number two, Cotto did attempt to get Margarito banned from boxing. So people just overlook that because it's either one, it's unbeknownst to you, and if you're ignorant on the topic, you should shut the hell up. Or two, you just conveniently omit that information. Like, so as dope as Miguel Cotto was for going to get it back in blood, he did attempt to get Margarito banned from boxing. So I don't know why people they either don't know that or they just omit that. I don't get it. So, so if you're going to knock somebody for, let's keep the same energy. I'm very big on being consistent, man. Maybe not in my personal life, but definitely in no, I'm just joking. But yeah, so I think we already know what's next for Catterall. It's either title shot or a high profile fight. And that high profile fight to me is only with potentially Devin Haney. He's probably the only guy that you could fight that's not a title contender that probably gives you a high profile fight. So I think it's either Devin Haney or the winner. Jack Catterall versus Devin Haney, Jack Catterall versus the winner of Sandor Martin and Alberto Puello, Jack Catterall versus the winner of Richard Hitchens and Liam Paro, or Jack Catterall versus Rayo, who should be fighting Isaac Pitbull Cruz rematch. So I look forward to that. Now let's speak on what's a little bit more questionable, right? Regis Prograis. Let's talk about him. Regis Prograis and his don't forget to like the video, by the way. But Regis Prograis and his future is a little less clear, right? Even by his own terms, right? Regis Prograis has been like, hey man, I think I'm gonna go to try some other things, even if I stay in boxing, I might go to 147. If I don't stay in boxing, I might go to MMA or bare knuckle fighting. And he's basically saying that he might retire from boxing. And I saw this coming because not only did he tell us on the build up of this fight, but he also said it he mentioned it during the build up to the Devin Haney fight. He was like, I always wanted to go into MMA, and even at his gym, he has a lot of MMA fighters that frequent his gym where he trains, and that's not a problem. But I do think that it doesn't behoove somebody who is currently seeking something in their respective field to be looking elsewhere, especially in boxing. For me personally, I always look at that as a red flag. It's like, oh, your mind's not fully committed. That's how I think. I mean, that's just how I think when I hear fighters talk about other things after boxing while they have a fight scheduled. So this was no shocker to me. I don't know what he's going to do because he doesn't know what he's going to do himself. That's what he's been saying. But I do want to offer a big salute to Regis. You know what I'm saying? Let's go ahead and clap it up for Regis, man. He had a great career, whether you like Regis or not. 2-time champion. And I think that Regis is definitely... He's a beast. He fought everybody. I don't know if him avoiding anybody. He fought Devin Haney. He has 3 losses, right? Jack Catterall most recently, Devin Haney, and then Josh Taylor. No, there's no shame in losing those 3 gentlemen because 2 of the 3 are very accomplished. Jack Catterall seems like he's on the trajectory to be very accomplished and be a champion, but Josh Taylor was a undisputed champion. Devin Haney is a champion in multiple divisions, first youngest undisputed champion in the 4-belt era. So there's nothing wrong with that. Do I think Regis Prograis can stay in boxing and be a serviceable guy? When I say serviceable, I mean like serviceable and formidable, right? Like he could be, I don't know if his title aspirations, no, you should always aspire to be the best, but I don't know if his title aspirations could be achieved at 140. But you never know what can happen in boxing. Like I said, I give examples all the time. Like, who would have thought that some of these boxers that are champions will be champions? Like, who would have believed in them besides himself? Like, who would have thought Seiyo Sutsumi would just upset Takuma Inoue? That just happened on the 14th or 13th of October. I can't remember the exact date. I think the 13th. So no one would have thought that. You know, we thought Takuma would have won that easily. You know what I'm saying? Even Fumalele Kafu, the South African that just upset another Japanese fighter in Kosei Tanaka at 115. KO Tanaka, right? Who would have thought that? No one see that coming. And all these upsets, you know, even with Daniel Dubois, Anthony Joshua, that was a major upset. So things can happen that we don't see happening, that we don't anticipate to happen. You know, that's the nature of boxing. That's why they have an award called Upset of the Year. You know, and there's a lot of upsets this year. You know, look at that Alan Garcia guy. He's from Kansas, like Kansas, called Kansas boy or something like that. He just got upset. You know, he was like considered an up and coming prospect. So upsets happen. And do I think Regis Prograis could be a champion at 140? Probably not, in my opinion. But that's up to him. You know. So but when I say serviceable and a formidable fighter, I could still see him knocking off top 10 guys. I could see him in the top 10 ranking for a while. You know what I'm saying? He's not a pushover. I could see him upsetting a guy who thinks he's a prospect. Like, let's say if Teofimo tries to fight Regis Prograis and comes in there with a performance similar to Kambosos, I could see Regis Prograis beating Teofimo. You know what I'm saying? I could see, you know, Regis Prograis fighting Subra Matias, that being a good fight. I think Subra Matias wins, but that's a good fight. You know, I could see him and a lot of guys at 140. Gary Antoine Russell versus Regis Prograis. That's a good bounce back fight for Gary Antoine Russell. I think Gary Antoine Russell wins, but it's a good fight. There's a lot of guys I think are good fights with Regis Prograis. So I don't think his career is done just because his title window is closed or closing, gotten smaller, much more narrow. I don't think it's done, but I definitely think that he's going towards the closing of his career, and he's probably on the decline. But I think it's up to him, you know, and him going to 147 and fighting Josh Taylor, like he mentioned for a rematch in the interview I was watching. I would watch that fight too. Regis Prograis, Josh Taylor rematch at 147. Why not? That's a good fight. So, you know, I still think he has some stones that are left unturned. But if he leaves boxing and he goes to bare knuckle fighting, like he said, I'll watch it, you know, because that's one thing I do watch. I do watch when boxers cross over to other sports. Like I watched when Austin No Doubt Trout fought whoever he fought in bare knuckle fighting championship on his way to a title. I watched a couple of his fights. I watched Alfredo Angulo, you know, El Perro, the dog. I watched one of his fights in bare knuckle fighting, and I watched Regis Prograis too. Even if he went to MMA, like UFC or something, I'd watch him too. I'll watch him there too. So I definitely don't think it's over. I'm excited for the next chapter just to watch him. And yeah, shout out to Regis Prograis, man. Every fight I saw of Regis Prograis, I was excited for. So I look forward to. My bad. Let me charge my phone real quick. Whatever path he decides to take, I'm excited for it, man. I'm not one of those that if a fighter loses, you know, I'm done with them or whatever. Now, which path would I be most excited? I'm a boxing head. I'm a pugilist enthusiast, so I would be most excited to see him remain in the boxing world. But if you, like I said, if you went to bare knuckle fighting, I'd watch that too. So, yeah, him going to 147, why not? I mean, if Regis Prograis goes to 147, I mean, 147 is empty, right? 147, like, we have the 4 champions, Stanionis, Barrios, Norman, and Boots, right? If he goes to 147, I mean, who wouldn't want to see Regis Prograis and Conor Benn? You know, Conor Benn's rated high, or Alexis Rocha, or, I don't know, Shakram Giyashav at 147. Like, that's barren. If he goes to 147, you know, Jin Sasaki's up there. So if he goes to 147, why wouldn't he be instantly a contender? So, yeah, I think there's a lot of paths for him to remain in boxing and still be have a significant presence. Miguel Cotto did continue to pressure the commission about him to get him and his trainer suspended. What'd you say, Ty? I don't think everybody read that. Let me read it again. Let me read that again, Ty, because I don't think everybody realizes that when they compare Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia, try to say that Devin Haney needs to immediately rematch Ryan Garcia because Miguel Cotto didn't. He did not pursue any type of litigation. Let me read that again for those in the back. Ty says Miguel Cotto did. D-I-D did that. You know what I'm saying? He did. what Cardi B on Nasty Behind said and did. Yeah, Miguel Cotto and did. Yeah. Continue to pressure the commission about Margarito. Yeah. To get him and his trainer suspended. Yeah. And blackballed by promoters. Yeah. That's a fact. That's a fact. But people conveniently omit that part of the story. Don't get me wrong. Miguel Cotto is one of my favorite fighters of all time. I really like him a lot. But we're not going to change the story for anybody because you're trying to push a narrative about what somebody else is doing or did not do. And what he did do was try to pursue the excommunication of Antonio Margarito from the sport of boxing, and he should. There's no shame in that. But when you recite or recall, when you recite and recall that story, don't purposefully omit something to try to make somebody look like they're weaker than what they are because they're not adhering to your standards or what you think should be done in the boxing world when you never threw a punch in your life. The closest thing you come to throwing a punch is punching your index finger on the keys on the keyboard when you're on Twitter. Shut up, bro. Like, I don't want to hear that, bro. Like, even if Miguel Cotto didn't do it, what the hell that got to do with Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney? What they got to do with the price of tea in China? What they got to do with anything? But people just make these reaches. They just make these proclamations and they reach because they do or don't like somebody and they try to change history. No, go look up your history, bro. It's there. It's well documented. He definitely pursued legal action against Margarito. And he should, because if somebody cheats you, you should try to get your justice. What's wrong with seeking justice? Are we not American? Or maybe the judicial system only stands for certain people of certain complexions. Oh, okay. Every time somebody says that Devin Haney shouldn't go the judicial route and he should get it back in blood, the street route, is because there's underlying prejudice there. I promise you. Whether you believe them or not, I don't care what they look like, I don't care what they sound like, I don't care what gender they are, what sexual orientation they are, what religion they are. They could be as black as me. If they're saying that he should do some street level shit, and they're okay with other people not doing street level shit, is because there's some prejudice there. Maybe some self-hate there. There's probably some self-hate too. Believe that. I promise you it is. Which is why after they rematched Margarito, despite later on getting the belt, he still was never getting A-side money. Talk to him. He goes to 147 and go. Ain't no way you came in and contributed that, bro. Ain't no way you came in and contributed some negativity about my boy Regis, man. You a mod, man. Time yourself out, bro. Ain't no way that's your first message in the stream. My boy Kendrick in the building came in here angry again. You ain't getting no breakfast today, bro. You was getting clapped in 2K, bro. In 2K, you was getting clapped, bro. Yeah, man. So. Anybody who says that, man, anybody who advocates for anybody to in the professional ranks for somebody to do something that they consider street is because there's some prejudice there. Because if you're not telling other people to do the same street shit, then, you know what I'm talking about. I've been here. You wasn't reading my message. That's, bro, Ken, I ain't gonna lie. Cause I really think I miss your messages the most. I don't know why, bro. I'm sorry, bro. I apologize, bro. Shout out to my boy Kendrick, bro. Now I'm looking at your channel activity. It says Jack can pack a couple champs up. Facts. Talk to him. My bad, Kendrick. I don't know. I'll clap everybody. Sit down. Stop it, Smoochie. LOL is right. I don't get clapped in any shape or form. Hey, yo. Come on, bro.
What do you mean by that?
Come on, bro. You wallin'. You wallin', bro. Inappropriate, boy. I don't get clapped in any way, shape, or form. It's crazy, bro. I don't know about that. But yeah, man. So I think Regis Prograis, his future is bright, man. It might not be as bright as it was a couple years ago, but I still think it's bright, man. I think we need to get over this this notion that if you're not an undefeated champion, you have no place in boxing. I mean, you know, there are some people need to get tune-up fights. You could be a tune-up guy, or you could be like a guy that, you know, lets us know if a guy like William Crawler is serious or not, you know, because, you know, Regis Prograis has a big enough name to where they won't just rob him or stop the fight because he got one good punch in. You know, they'll let him actually fight and make him prove his worth. I ain't gonna lie, I thought that William Crawler shit was trash, and that's why that goes back to what do I say, Smoochie and Dub and Ty and Ken. I was just talking about this. I said when someone asked me how good somebody, I can't remember who asked me about what do I feel about a fighter from England. I can't remember what fighter it was. I can't remember who asked me, but I said my response was that I don't know, because it's hard for me to tell what level you're at in England, because there's a pro and con to English fighting, right? There's the pro is that they love boxing and you don't have to be an undefeated 50-0 superstar in order to be considered good like you do in America, because we don't really like boxing. We're super critical. You know, they appreciate the sport, but the caveat to that is that sometimes there'll be fighters a la Conor Benn, a la Chris Eubank Jr. that have a name, and their name precedes what their actions would actually indicate for their ceiling in reality. You know what I'm saying? And I think that, you know, William Crawler is an example of that. Like, how can I gauge how good he is when he goes in there in the first round, he lands one punch and they stop the fight? Like you're not supposed to get punched. Like, that's gonna happen in boxing. People gonna get punched and you're gonna get punched and you're gonna get punches. That happens. You know, like, so and that's why it's hard for me to determine how good an English boxer is. I'm saying English in particular. It's not because I don't think that they're good as a whole. Shout out to my English brethren and sisters, but because they like boxing so much and they tend to shelter some fighters to where it's hard to see, oh yeah, they beat 20 people, but what's the quality? You know what I'm saying? What's the quality of those opponents? You know, I've seen in the last 2 months, we've seen Dale Aerosmith 2 times. Dale Aerosmith has 118 losses. We've seen him twice. Am I lying, chat? We seen this guy twice, bro. This guy has 6 wins and 117 losses, bro, and 5 draws. We seen him twice in the last 2 months, and he already has 3 fights already scheduled. Oh, did I say 2 months? I'm sorry. Try the last 2 weeks. We saw him twice in 2 weeks. He fought. Oh, did I say 2 weeks? Oh, I'm sorry. We saw him 3 times in a month. Oh, I'm sorry. In the span of a month. Sorry, September. Did I say 3 times? I meant 4 times. I'm sorry. We saw him against Dylan Fitzgerald on November. We probably didn't see this fight, but you know what I'm saying. He was in the ring against Dylan Fitzgerald, September 28th. Where was it? Nottingham. Okay, where that's at, England. We saw him against Walter Fury, Tyson Fury's cousin, on October 5th, 2024, in where? Liverpool. We saw him against Dan Lewis on October 12th. Where was that again? Oh, Derby Hall. Arleston Hall in Derby, England. We saw him against Jason Clark 2 weeks later on the 26th. Where was that? Bethnal Green, also in England. This guy has 117 losses, bro. He fought 4 times in the last month. He making Abdullah Mason look lazy. This man he fought September 28th to October 26th, 4 times in the span of a month. And he lost all 4 of them hoes. How the hell am I going to tell you who's good or not? How could I tell you if that's who they're fighting? How could I tell you if he's good or not? The man fought 4 times in a month.
Damn.
And lost all 4.
I'm sorry.
Come on, bro. How do I even know this dude? I know this dude because I've seen him so many times. So that's my point. Like, how can I can't really gauge how good somebody is until they step up and go to world level. Like I said, I think that's dope though, because shout out to English boxing. Like I said, I think England has the best fans. I think the UK fans are the best, man. They really like boxing, you know, and that's dope. But at the same time, then it's hard for me to be able to determine who's the goods and who's just hype. This is a 9 to 5. Yeah, this is 9 to 5. Facts. Being pressured to defend your belt against a guy literally a few ounces over the limit of the division below the strict 3-pound rehydration clause in place is nasty work. America is the big leagues. Better keep that on. That's sad though. Yeah. So so I want to be very clear. I'm not saying. I know you know this, Smoochie, but I'm not saying to anybody who's new to the stream, I'm not saying American fighting is better or Mexican fighting is better, Japan boxing is better, or Senegal's boxing is better. What I'm saying is that, you know, in America, it is kind of like the melting pot, and you see a higher frequency of impatience. So you see a lower frequency of patience and a higher frequency of competition. You know, so you'll get thrown in there faster. You know, into that hot of oil. I'm not that hot of oil. That hot pot of oil. I'm not saying, or grease. I'm not saying that they're better, but the competition is there, and you'll get the weaker fighters get weeded out faster. That's what I'm saying. The weaker fighters get weeded out faster, you know, in America and, you know, in other places than let's say England, because England, they're cool with having, you could be a local level star. I mean, look at Derek Chisora. He has like 13 losses, and we just saw him against Joe Joyce. They're talking about him potentially fighting Jarrell Big Baby Miller. I love that. I don't think we should get rid of a fighter because they have a couple losses. But at the same time, I don't think Derek Chisora deserves a trilogy with Tyson Fury either. You see what I'm saying? Like, why are you having a trilogy and you lost all 3 fights? And then you have Tyson Fury, who I like Tyson Fury. You know Tyson Fury is one of my favorite heavyweights. But at the same time, I got to call BS when it is. And he's over here talking about he wants to be the only heavyweight with 3 trilogies.
Bullshit! Bullshit! Bullshit, 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 bullshit!
Well, one of your trilogies was kind of unnecessary, sir. One of your trilogies came with Deontay Wilder, which makes sense because you had a draw with Deontay Wilder right here, right? With Deontay Wilder, a draw, and then you beat him, and then so you have one draw, one win, so you fight him again, and then and that's a trilogy that makes sense. I'm gonna tell you a trilogy that doesn't make sense. A trilogy that doesn't make sense is that you beat Derek Chisora by stoppage. It makes him retire in the 10th round, and then you fight. Sorry, I missed the first one. I apologize. A trilogy that doesn't make sense is you fight Derek Chisora, you beat him by unanimous decision in 12 rounds. Then you fight him again, which, okay, you fight him again because it was a decision victory. You retire him in the 10th round. Why are you fighting him again? Why are you fighting Derek Chisora again? Oh, but that wasn't enough. You go and you fight Derek Chisora a third time, and then you stop him in the 10th round. What's the point of that trilogy? You see what I'm saying? Like, but it's because, England, they love boxing, so it doesn't matter to them. Hey, you fighting? Let's get it. Bullshit! Bullshit! And now this guy's talking about he'll be the only boxer, only heavyweight with 3 trilogies. Well, I mean, one of your trilogies didn't really make sense. It was unnecessary. Anybody could fight somebody 3 times if you're kicking their ass. like, why did we get a trilogy of that? Derek, a UK Hall of Famer, facts. Yo, my boy BX in the building. I'm not one of those. Like, I'm gonna be honest. Like, I'm excited for Emmanuel Navarrete versus Oscar Valdez, but I don't really understand why they're having a rematch. Oscar Valdez got the hell beat out of him, and he didn't get stopped, but he got beat up. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, nobody. That was not a controversial decision. Like, Navarrete beat the hell out of Oscar Valdez, but because Valdez is a champion, if Navarrete's a champion, the rematch is also unification. So I'm cool with it. But as far as just having it, just to have it, it doesn't really make sense. Now, Robeisy Ramirez versus Espinosa, El Divino Espinosa, Rafael Espinosa, that's a good rematch because that was a close fight. Could have went either way, and it was a barn. Ooh, it was a barn burner. That fight was great, man. I can't wait for that fight. But just off the strength of it being competitive, no, Oscar Valdez and Emmanuel Navarrete should not be having a rematch. I'm not for rematches just cause. Like, it's okay to move on. He said I usually don't start calling a guy good on the UK level until he's obtained the British Commonwealth title or the United Kingdom title. Yep, the UK title. Oh, you mean by United Kingdom title, the UK title? You mean the Usyk Kingdom title? The Usyk Kingdom title. That's Usyk's place, man. Stop playing. Yeah, that's the typical UK bruv diet, right? The typical Usyk Kingdom bruv diet. That's Usyk's place until somebody dethrones him. It's like, remember when LeBron, I don't know if you how much you watch basketball, but remember they were calling Toronto LeBronto? Hey, shout out to my boy Ryan. I know Ryan knows this. Remember those years when LeBron was with the Cavs and the Heat and all that, and they were dominating Toronto Raptors with DeRozan and Kyle Lowry and company? They were calling it LeBronto. Well, that's what UK is. UK is Usyk until otherwise. Until LeBron switched divisions, switched to the Western Conference, and then until Usyk goes down to cruiserweight or something or retires. That's Usyk Kingdom. Until he beat Joe Joyce, Joe Joyce, Daniel Dubois, Tony Bellew, Tyson Fury, Anthony Joshua. Did he beat Derek Chisora? I think Usyk fought Derek Chisora too, didn't he? I don't remember. And if he didn't, just throw him there just cuz. If he did fight him, we know he won. I believe he fought Derek. Yeah, I remember that fight. Yeah, he fought Derek Chisora too. So come on, man. Until they report to Usyk. Forget the king and the queen and your mom and your daddy. Forget Prince Charles. You report to Usyk if you live in the UK. That's when they normally begin to take royal level comps, similar to how fighters in Japan when yeah, exactly. And then you have Dalton. Yeah, that's who it was. Somebody asked me how I feel about Dalton Smith, and like I said, I was big on Dalton Smith. He had me convinced, man, especially when he stopped Jose Zepeda, right? But then when he stopped Jose Zepeda, he didn't call out any of the champions. He called out Adam Azim, who had like 9 wins at the time. Why are you calling out a prospect? Like, you just won the silver title, bro. Even Eddie Hearn snatched the mic from him and was like, no, we want world titles. But if Adam Azim wants that pressure, then we will gladly make that fight happen. But there's levels to this. We'll be going down levels
multiple levels. That's what Eddie Hearn. Go watch the post-fight interview. You could tell Eddie Hearn was annoyed with Dalton Smith, and that's your promoter. But that's when I lost faith in Dalton Smith. When he knocked out Jose Zepeda and then called out Adam Azim, I was like, okay, that's like Keyshawn Davis if he beats Gustavo Lemos, knocking Gustavo Lemos out and then calling out Abdullah Mason or something like that. Like, why would he call out a prod you're supposed to shoot up? That don't mean that you're gonna get the title fight. But that's what you should be aiming for. Like Jack Catterall, right? After he beat Josh Taylor, he called out Teofimo. He just beat Regis Prograis, called out Teofimo again. And he also called out the winner of Paro and Hitchens. That's what you do. You know, so yeah, to me, when you don't do that, to me, it indicates that you don't have confidence in yourself. If you don't have confidence in yourself, then I ain't got no business having confidence in you. He said my boy BX says he's disappointed with Regis' career is gone. Why so? I actually salute Regis, man. I think Regis is doing very hopefully he's doing well for himself financially and stuff. Seems like he is. Seems like he's a smart brother, so hopefully he's invested his money right and stuff like that. But as long as he's not hurting for money, man, I think, you know, a 2-time champion, bro, and you know, he lost to 3 people, right? Elgato, Jack the Catterall. He lost to Josh Taylor and Devin Haney. You know, there's no shame in that, in my opinion. But yeah, tell me why. Maybe you had higher aspirations for him than I did, but I still think if he could keep fighting, you know, I thought that was a good fight, you know, him and Jack Catterall. I thought that was a great fight. It was entertaining, man. I'd watch that fight again and again. So that's all I can ask for, man. He tried. He didn't run. He gave me the impression that he gave it his all. I'm actually proud of him. I thought that was a dope fight. He said, yep, the King James was the king of the 6. Facts. The king of the 6. Views from the 6. OVO, king of OVO. Ty was not going to like hearing Derek Hall. Derek Warchesor is a Hall of Famer, bro. Definitely a Hall of Famer. Definitely in the UK, for sure. I rock with Derek Warchesor. I don't want anybody to think that I don't like. I love English fighters and the English culture. I'm just saying it's hard for me to distinguish who has the skills and who really has the skills and who doesn't. That's all. And let's be honest, it's not just the UK that does that protects their up and comers, right? We've seen American fighters get the UK get the William Crawler treatment too. Julio Cesar Chavez, you know. We've seen people the beneficiary of bad decisions and the beneficiary of bad stoppages, but that was just crazy. What you eating? Some trash. Eating some potato chips. I shouldn't be eating them. Especially not in the morning. I should be eating something good and at least something of substance. Poor man, Sean Porter. That's crazy. Shout out to Sean Porter. The leftover bag of chips from the get together we had celebrating my nephew getting his freedom back. That's why I missed well, I know you know Smoochie, but that's why I missed Friday's stream, because my nephew got out of jail. Back out of jail. I ain't seen him in 6 years. Not in the free world. I'm sure. One less family member in the prison system, man. Shout out to that. Lynn Saul says, "What's good, bro?" Lynn Saul says, "Regis is a decent fighter." I think he's more than decent. I still think he has the ability to be decent. He still remained decent even after a loss, but I think he's more than a decent fighter. I think he's a good fighter. Not trying to argue semantics. I'm just saying, but like, to be a decent fighter is what he is. What he could fall to if he loses to, like, I don't know,
Like if he has another fight at 140, let's say he loses to I don't know, give me somebody at 140. Like if he loses like an Arnold Barbosa, no disrespect to Arnold Barbosa, if then I'd be like, okay, he's decent, because I think Arnold Barbosa is decent. But I think Regis Prograis, 2-time champion, I think he's more than decent, man. I think he's a good fighter. But it depends on what you I mean, it's all perspective, right? If you consider good being champion level, then yeah, I don't think he's champion level. So I agree with you if that's what you're saying. But to be champions are above good in my opinion. Regis is a B- unified champion. Yeah. I'll say he's B level. On a S scale, like a S A B C D scale, I'd say B level, yeah. For me. Because I don't think there's any shame in losing to Catterall. Catterall's not a champion, but we all anticipate him to have that championship pedigree, right? I don't think there's no shame in losing to Josh Taylor, former undisputed. And there's no shame in losing to Devin Haney, another former undisputed. You know, youngest undisputed in the 4-belt era. He was a 2-time champion. He tried. He fought for undisputed in the tournament, right? Let me respond. Yep. So yeah, I think being a former champion is I think in my opinion that's better than decent. But like I said, it depends on what you consider. If you consider champion level good, then I agree that he's no longer champion level. But to be being a champion is better than good. But I don't think he's a champion level anymore. Catterall should have been. Hey, Ty. If T.O.'s undisputed, then yeah. Oh, yeah. All right, my mom sent me some message. Said, "Bless the Lord, O my soul, and all that is within me. Bless his holy name." Amen. That's Psalms 103, verse 1. The blessing of the Lord makes rich, and he adds no sorrow with it. Amen. I like that. Yep, that's a fact. The blessing of the Lord is rich, and he adds no sorrow with it. Amen. And God bless you. They rob Cat, we all know. I'm beyond. I wasn't too. I think Jack Catterall won that first fight as well, but I wasn't too mad at it. I guess I wasn't like, I don't know. Josh Taylor did his thing too, but yeah, I had Jack Catterall winning the first fight. I definitely had him win the first fight, but I wasn't too upset. School prime time. Hey, no book of tea. Your big sister, she look at me. Punked the brother for a spot. No, I took his seat. True, but yeah, I opened up the Discord if anyone want to join through. That's all the topics I had today, man. Talked about Regis and his potential future, man. Like I said, I'm excited to see wherever he goes, man. If he goes to bare knuckle fighting, I'm gonna watch. I don't watch bare knuckle fighting that much, but I will watch it when it's a former boxer involved, like also No Doubt Trout, who's a current champion, and Alfredo Angulo, who went over there, El Perro, the dog. If Regis go over there, I'll watch him over there too. We have a fight this weekend, right? This weekend is Shock and oh boy, Robson Casesa out. Man, I'm nervous for Oshaki Foster, bro. I'm gonna be honest. I'm nervous. Not because he can't win, obviously. He's at an advantage, but he could be at a disadvantage at the same time. Thoughts on Dev? Comments on Regis? I'll give me a second. I think that I'll respond to that. Yeah, I mentioned that earlier. Actually, we were talking about that earlier. But I'll revisit it. I think that it could be dangerous because, you know, I thought he did enough to win, and when you feel like you did enough to win, now he has to come out and do something else. And I could just, I wouldn't be shocked if he's extra reckless and he gets caught, you know, being reckless, trying to be overly aggressive, trying to make sure that he appeals to everybody and appeases the judges. And I just feel like he's at a disadvantage because I feel like he did enough to win the first fight, but obviously he didn't according to the judges. So I don't know, we'll see though. But he's a beast though, so I could see him winning as well. I think he will win. At the same time, it's like, man, it ain't just sweet because, you know, you could get caught trying to be over aggressive or reckless or, you know, trying to do extra when you really shouldn't have to do extra because he won that first fight. Kid Austin come back this weekend. Yep, yep, what a cool breeze. Kid Austin comes back this weekend as well. Yep. That's a fact. He said, now thoughts on Dev comments on Regis. You talking about when he said that Regis was bitter? Like I said, if you look at the number, well, I don't know if that's what you're talking about, Lynn Saul, but tell me that's what you're talking about. Correct me, stop me if that's not what you're talking about. But if you're talking about when he said he's bitter because Regis said that Jack Catterall is the best he faced. I mean, if I watched some interviews after that, you know, I like watching the interviews, and Regis went back and clarified that he's like, yeah, I'm not saying he's the best, but that's how I felt right then. He's like, a lot of things that he did in the ring were better than what other fighters have done. But even if he said he was the best, right, and he meant that, right? If you look at, yeah, so yeah, he said he's bitter because he ruined them. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, right, exactly. So yeah, we are talking about the same thing. So if I'm Devin Haney, I would feel like I'm the best, right? Because I feel like he's capping because I beat him by unanimous decision, just like Jack Catterall did. I dropped him just like Jack Catterall did. But I watched him, you know what I'm saying? I think Devin Haney won 120 to 107 on all three judges' scorecards. He didn't win a round. Literally did not win a round. So he watched him. He cleaned him up, you know what I'm saying? So if I'm Devin Haney, I would feel like I'm the best fighter that he felt. I would feel like Devin Haney feels, but the adult in me, not saying Devin Haney's a kid, but I'm just saying like the adult in me, like I don't mind, and also the I didn't fight him, so the person's not involved. I have to say that as well. So I understand why Devin would feel like that, but then like as I step back, it's like maybe Jack Catterall is his best. How could I question his experience? You know, that's his experience. Just because the fight was closer than this other fight doesn't mean that the other fight was harder. It's like when Tyson Fury, someone asked him in an interview, who was the hardest fighter that you fought? Who was your most difficult fight? He said Deontay Wilder. And people in the comments, oh, he's capping. And you know, Reyes not Usyk. Oh, this guy's a dummy. He don't know what he's talking like. They're like, how you gonna tell somebody their own experience? And maybe he is capping. But so what? Just because you lost, like, I'll give you an example. Just because, okay, so like, I'd like to give my own personal experiences. So like my qualifying exam on my PhD, right? I didn't pass it the first time. I passed it the second time. They're different. Both the tests were different, but the same concept, but different. That doesn't mean the second one was easier than the first one because I didn't pass the first one and I passed the second one. It's a pass-fail thing. It ain't like an A and an F. There's no grade scale. I don't fail nothing. Don't get twisted. But it's a pass or fail thing. So it wasn't like the first one was easier. I mean, it was harder because I failed it and the second one was easier. I could argue that the second one was harder. I do think the second one was harder. It's just I was more prepared. So just because you fail something and you succeed at something doesn't mean that one's easier or harder necessarily. Like I've done bad on tests that were easier. I just was less prepared, or I didn't care, or whatever it was. And I've done better on tests that were more difficult because I was more prepared, you know, or whatever it was, you know, I put more effort. So maybe there was a point in time, I don't know what fight people watch, but number one, Tyson Fury feels like he won against Usyk. He says that multiple times. He said he thought he won. So just because he lost according to judges doesn't mean that he didn't feel like the fight wasn't easy because he felt like he won. If he didn't get caught in the 9th round, which is what everybody goes to, why do we say he got caught in the 9th round? He got caught because that's indicative of saying that something happened that wasn't consistent with what was transpiring up until that point. He got caught because he was winning the fight prior to that moment. He got caught because nobody was that shot was a big shot. Nobody was expecting it, because Tyson Fury won like the 4 rounds prior to that, like rounds 3 through 7 or 3 through 8. He won those rounds convincingly. He was dancing and gyrating his hips on the ropes. And do we forget that? So I'm not saying that from the outside looking in. Of course, you lost the Usyk fight, so we would think naturally that would be your hardest fight. But I don't know what he felt. You know what I'm saying? You could have felt it was easy. He just made one obvious mistake. And if he feels like if he fixes that mistake, he probably it'll be a whole nother outcome. So yeah, I try my best not to question people's experiences. So when Regis says that this was the hardest fight, well, maybe Jack Catterall was the hardest fight, because, you know, even though Devin Haney dropped him, I don't remember Regis being hurt like he was with Jack Catterall against Devin Haney. Maybe I got to go back and watch again, but I think it was a convincing whooping, like outpointing him. But Jack Catterall had some moments, you know, Regis and Jack Catterall had some exchanges where they were fighting, you know what I'm saying, and exchanging some hard shots. So maybe that felt like, maybe he felt more confused. Like maybe with Devin Haney, he didn't know what to do to win, but he knew what his mistakes were. Maybe with Jack Catterall, it wasn't as clear what his mistakes were, or what he could do better. Maybe Regis or against Devin, he recognized what he could do better, but he just couldn't execute it. I don't know. I'm just speaking hypothetically. So I don't think he's wrong, but I don't think Devin Haney's wrong for feeling like he's capping either. Because if I watch somebody, you don't win a round, and I drop you, then yeah, I feel like I'm probably the best person you fought. So I don't think there's anything wrong with what he said. And as far as him saying he ruined his career, I think that's just trash talk, because, you know, they have their back and forth since the fight, and the weight issues, you know, the weight bullying accusations, and then Regis trying to bounce back and dismiss his the significance of Ryan Garcia cheating and stuff like that. So I think that's just, you know, them just, I don't think there's nothing wrong with that. I think it's just unfriendly banter, I guess. People just talking trash, that's all. He's immature. I lost some respect for him kicking another man after a loss. Nah, I can't say that, Linsall, because that's all people have been doing is kicking Devin Haney after a loss, and the loss wasn't even real. So I can't go with that. Like I do, like I'm not a big fan of Devin Haney. I always say that, but I'm a fan of being consistent and being right, and I'm a fan of boxing, most importantly, when it comes to this conversation. But Devin Haney's been kicked and spit on and stomped on and made fun of, and you know it's crazy. I will say this, Linsall. I'm not saying you feel how you feel. I'm not saying you can't feel how you feel. So please don't look at this as me trying to say you shouldn't feel like that. You feel like that, that's how you feel, you know what I'm saying? You have a right. But my feeling to that is that, you know, Devin Haney has probably been somebody that I think has been patronized and teased and picked on the most that I've seen for somebody that got cheated. Like you would think that he did something. He's getting treated like he's the person that did something wrong. And it's so funny, and I'm not, and it's gonna sound, hear me out, because it's gonna sound, I don't think it's gonna sound bad, but I want to say it. But I think some people just like to misconstrue people's words and take these the wrong way. But you know, I've seen it. You know, shout out to my guy Keyshawn. Shout out to Keyshawn Davis. I did. Shout out to Tim Bradley. Shout out to Liam Pearl. Shout out to Richard Hitchens. Shout out to everybody that, you know, boxing has an opinion that I disagree with. But I will say, like, for example, Liam Pearl, right? Liam Pearl lost his friend. I'm not comparing what happened to Devin Haney to death. But I'm just saying that was a tough situation, right? And he said he was sad, you know, but he did stuff for this. He got emotional, and he did stuff like beating Super Matias for his friend, you know. But he said he was in a dark place, right? And you got to think what put you in that dark place was something bad that happened to you. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying it's the death part. And then even Keyshawn Davis, right? Keyshawn Davis just the other day said that he was in a depressive state and he put a gun to his head or something like that. And it's like, yeah, you want people to sympathize with that. But then when you go through a situation that is not the best, and you know how feeling down is, but then you turn around and call somebody out their name because of the situation they're going through, and you're just being one of the people that pile on to the situation, aka Devin Haney. Like Liam Pearl, he didn't go hard on Devin Haney, but he said that, yeah, he doesn't think you should take it to court. He said it looks kind of weak, and then, you know, Keyshawn Davis called him all types of B words and all types of pussy and all, you know, all types of stuff like that for handling the situation in the judicial system. And there's there's procedures in place for you to handle it this way when such an act like cheating transpires, right? You get the no contest. You know the athletic commission will check it out and they'll deem it a no contest, and then you have the opportunity to seek legal action, and that's what he's doing. But even if you do judge what he does, whatever, you don't agree with it, whatever. But you don't think that you being in a depressive state for whatever reason, maybe your girlfriend left you, or somebody passed away, your family, or something happened where you lost your house, or something, you're in a bad situation and you're in a depressive state, whatever it is. You don't think that Devin Haney could be potentially in a depressive state? You don't think if anybody in the boxing world could be depressed right now, it would be Devin Haney? Every second, somebody's talking about him. You know what I'm saying? It don't matter if you're black, white, Hispanic, male, female, Christian, atheist. It don't matter if you're in boxing, out of boxing. If you're a promoter, you're a fighter. It don't matter, bro. You can't talk to a fighter whether he has a fight upcoming or not, and not mention the Devin Haney, Ryan Garcia situation and ask them their opinion. You got people that are chiming in that you don't even know. You got people that don't, you know what I'm saying? People that you know was interested in boxing. Like if anybody, I'm not saying that you should be depressed or not, but if anybody was going to be depressed from this last year of boxing in the boxing world, you would think it would be Devin Haney. And it's funny that all these people will come out and say, oh, I was in a sad state, and they'll be looking for people to be sympathetic towards them. But then you are lacking sympathy towards somebody else in a potentially similar situation. May not be in a similar situation on how they got there, but the result is the same with them being overall sad. And you have no compassion for that. But then you ought to have the audacity to tell me about your little sad sob story and expect for me to cry with you. Like, that's crazy to me. After hearing your thoughts, you're right. I appreciate it, Lynn. So I appreciate you, bro. Appreciate it, bro. Don't let Mark Kriegel hear that. Shake my head. You know he gonna ask Keyshawn that on live TV. He love hearing fighters trauma. Yeah, exactly. Ostracized by the masses just for being a good boxer, right? And like I said, I will tell you this. I too wish Ryan Garcia. I wish that Devin Haney would fight Ryan Garcia again, just to get it back. You know what I'm saying? But I'm also capable of being a thinker, I guess, and acknowledging that Devin Haney is the one that is the person that got done dirty, and however he wants to handle it, then that's his right. Like if he doesn't rematch him, I'd be disappointed, but I want to be mad. I'm not gonna say that he's all types of weak and all. No, that's what he doesn't want to do. Would I want to see the Ryan Garcia? Yes, I want to see the rematch. But at the same time, if he doesn't want to contribute to somebody's livelihood, because that's what a fight does. It does put money in the other person's pocket, whether you want to acknowledge it or not. You know, then. If he doesn't want to contribute to that, then I want to knock him, or whatever his reason is. If he doesn't feel comfortable, think that he'll find another way to cheat, that's up to him. I'm not gonna knock him, but yeah, I think that fighters do that all the time. And Regis Prograis too. Regis Prograis, as you go check it out, his document. He said that he doesn't feel bad for Devin Haney in the outcome of his fight. He even brushed it off by saying that all fighters cheat. Or he said no, he didn't say all fighters. Excuse me. He said there's a lot of fighters that cheat. He said there's a lot of boxers that cheat. So basically, he was saying that it doesn't matter that someone cheated because there's a lot of boxers that cheat. So for somehow quantity makes quality. Like I don't care if there's a lot of boxers that do it. You know, when you get caught is when we know you did it. Now we're not speculating. And if someone cheated, then it's always significant. You know, it's always Czar in the building. So yeah, like I said, I'm not a big fan of Devin Haney, but I'm not just because I don't really care for somebody. I'm not incapable of having independent thoughts. You know what I'm saying? And taking in all the facts. And me, I don't dislike, I didn't really dislike Devin Haney for things outside of boxing. So I don't hate the man. So I don't think that anything should happen to anybody. I don't really care for him because, you know, some stuff related to boxing, but not as a person. You know, people take things too personally. They ain't got nothing to do with them, in my opinion. Like they don't like him so much that they don't care. I promise you, they wouldn't care if Ryan Garcia went in that ring with a machine gun. They would have said, "Oh, he should have dodged the bullets." I promise you. You know, they would. My boy Czar, what's good, bro? But yeah, so I think I'm not, but I will agree with you though, Linsaw. I feel like, you know, I don't like kicking people when they down either. Like that's why I applaud Shakur Stevenson when Shakur Stevenson was seemingly didn't go so hard on Devin Haney about losing and saying that the cheating mattered, you know. So, you know, as much as I like Tank, I thought that was kind of distasteful for Tank to say what he said in the aftermath of of Ryan Garcia punching on Devin Haney. You know, I thought that was kind of weak. But at the same time, you know, they all talk trash to each other. So, It is what it is. So I'm in agreement with you. I think that kicking somebody down is, while they down, is not the best thing. But, you know, that's what people like to see. People like to see the drama. That's what grows your Twitter followers and stuff like that. You know, more things, negative things are promoted more than positive things. So at the same time, you want to build a following, then yeah, you talk trash. I talk trash on Twitter sometimes too. If I see somebody say something stupid, I'll tell you how stupid you are. No problem. But at the same time too, I don't respond to everything. I'm trying to work on that on my channel too. Like when somebody says something ridiculous to me, I just try to ignore it. But it's hard. I like trash talking. But it's rare that I'll initiate it, I guess, if you say it like that. I don't know. Sugar Ray Leonard once told a fighter who was his mandatory, he never give him an opportunity with him to make money because of how he did his brother in the amateurs, and Bob worked his magic. Right. I took my roof off at the red light. I took my roof off at the red light. Yo, that trap phone tripping. Mark the type of dude to ask what the really loaded and where you gonna use it. I'm telling you, bro. Was a gun really loaded and where you gonna use it, bro? Yeah, Mark Kriegel is a joke, bro. When he asked Bruce Shushu Carrington if he expected his brother to die, like, what are you talking about, bro? Who the heck expects their somebody that they know, brother or not, sister or not, relative or not, stranger or not, to get gunned down? To get killed by gunfire. Like, what kind of question is that? Yeah. I was planning on it. Yeah, had it in my planner. I was scheduled for Tuesday at 5 o'clock. Yeah, I was expecting my brother to get shot down at the gas station. Yep. Set my alarm clock. Oh, stupid ass. And that's when people say people have no journalistic integrity and YouTubers and content creators aren't qualified to because they don't have the educational background as a journalist. And then Mark Kriegel asked a question like that. Yeah. Great job. Not saying sometimes we make mistakes and we are I'm guilty of that too. Like sometimes we say some stuff that we don't mean or it sounded better in our head and we didn't articulate it appropriately, but that was just stupid, bro. I ain't gonna lie. And they could have edited it out. That's what I'm saying. Like, even if he said that, why didn't they edit it out? It wasn't a live interview. They could have edited it out, but they kept it in there because they thought that was cool. Thought that was cool to keep. Oh yeah, they gonna love this. People gonna love this. This was a good question. Good job, Mark. Stupid ass. Yeah, so man, did he expect it? But chat, yeah, I'm about to go ahead and call it, man. Appreciate y'all rocking as always, man. Thank y'all for tuning in. Don't forget to like the video if you haven't done so already, man. We had some good questions today. Had some good dialogue today. Good conversation, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, I appreciate y'all. We'll be back on for the late show. You know, we go Monday through Friday at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time and 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the late show. You know what I'm talking about? So please tap in with me. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that like button. And also, and don't forget to check out the videos that we drop periodically throughout the day. Thank you, Karma. Exactly. How did you feel when you saw your mom smoking crack? Yeah, it's like and I try not, I try to practice what I preach and not be too hard on folks, but it just looks so insensitive, right? You know what I'm saying, Karma? It just looks so insensitive to other people's plight, and I say that to say that's the same person that will push the narrative. Not just saying Mark Kriegel, not just trying to isolate him, but let's be real. That's the same person who would say something as insensitive and idiotic as, did you expect your brother to get killed? And when he died from gun, he didn't die from a disease. He didn't have, well, I mean, I guess you could look at it as a disease that plagues certain communities, but he didn't die from like a progressive lack of health or health deterioration. He died from a sudden altercation, interaction that resulted in gun violence. So like when you have people like Mark Kriegel ask things like that, it's like, do you think that people that look like me or look like Bruce Shushu Carrington, you think that we are so accustomed and so desensitized to gun violence or any type of violence that results in a loved one passing that we anticipate it happening, like we plan for it, like we set it in our schedule, like it doesn't matter to us? And that's what people think. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I told you, like my nephew, when we had our little gathering, went out and went to my mom's, and he was walking down the street not even 500 feet from the house, and someone called the police on him. Why do you think that happened? Let's be real. Like, why do you think that? And when I asked a police officer, I said why? You know what he told me? I said, why'd you stop him? You know, you're supposed to. Nothing wrong with police doing their job and you checking on a disturbance or whatever you feel is happening. But there was no disturbance. There was no outlandish behavior. He was just on the phone. Wasn't speaking loudly. Nothing. It's just that because they feel like we live in fucking Cheers or something where everybody knows your name. They feel like certain people feel like they should know everybody on the block. Bitch, I don't want to know you. I don't know you. You know, and I want to keep it that way. You know what I'm saying? I don't care if you're white, black, Hispanic, Asian, or otherwise. I don't want to know you. You know, don't ask me for sugar, nothing. But yeah, so he wasn't doing anything demonstrative or loud, but the police officer came and asked him for ID. And I'm like, so I asked him, I said, but you're here, you're supposed to de-escalate, right? But certain people, when they go to certain communities, their objective is to de-escalate. When they go other places, their objective is to escalate, you know? So I'm not saying that you can't do your job and come and, you know, do your duty as a beat cop, whatever, and check and scope out the situation. But once you see that nothing's happening, why even question them? You see what I'm saying? Like, you could drive by. I don't care who I call on. If I call on somebody, say, oh, this person's outside, and you see that they're just walking, you don't have to stop them and ask them to ID themselves. But anyway, then when I asked him that, I said, well, yeah. I said, so what was he doing as a threat? Because he said, yeah, someone perceived him as a threat. I said, what was threatening? He said, I don't know. I said, okay, so if you don't know, why would you accept that, you know? And then he said, well, you know, you'll be surprised when we get called on. This is what he said to me. Chat, I promise you, God's my witness. He said, we get called on things like even just a loose dog, because a loose dog is a threat. I said, yeah, a dog is a threat because it's loose and it has teeth and it can bite you and it can have diseases like rabies. I said, what is the threat of my nephew? I said, he's a human. He's not a dog. He's not a rabid dog just walking around the neighborhood looking to bite somebody off a chain. A dog belongs on a chain and it has a leash and a collar, accompanied by an adult or a person or a human. He just looked at me because, you know, we said something dumb, but that's how people see it. You know, same with Mark Kriegel. You know, I know it seems like a reach, but if you listen to what I'm saying, it's not really a reach. He asked Bruce Shushu Carrington that because he thinks, coming from his suburban lifestyle or his sheltered lifestyle, whatever the hell he's from, he thinks that bad things happen to us and we're so accustomed to it and it should happen to us that we shouldn't have a problem with it. Like, so you know, oh, you lost your brother? Oh, that's okay. You know, that's like me losing my wallet or something. Fucking clown. So yeah, but that could have potentially. Thank God, you know, that the officers weren't gung ho, but still they weren't nice. You know, they weren't nice officers. They just weren't, you know, had shooting nigga on their menu today. But yeah, they definitely weren't nice. You know, because I feel like if they were nice and they would have recognized that there was no issue, it was just somebody being an asshole. And that's why I'm thinking about going back to school and being in law, man. Because I think that there should be some type of reprimand for people that call police for no reason because they know the potential outcome could be devastating for or even fatal at the worst case scenario. You know, I think, in my personal opinion, I think that there should be some legislation written to where if you call somebody for the police, no matter who it is for or who it's on, it's not even a race thing, right? Let's equalize it and normalize it, right? Let's normalize the scenario. So it doesn't matter if it's a male, female, black, white, whatever. If you call the authorities for a situation and authorities weren't necessary and nothing going on, then you should be either fined or punished in some way, shape, form, or capacity, right? Because at the end of the day, you're wasting resources. So when you're calling somebody, like I said, let's take it out of race or ethnicity or culture or whatever. But if you call somebody for something that's the authorities aren't necessary to resolve, or there's no situation to be resolved at all, then what if somebody who really does need help, you're taking the resources away from them because these resources are now occupied somewhere else where it's not even needed. So yeah, I think that there should be some type of punishment for people that just call, you know, and even it can be something small. Like my homeboy said, I was talking to my homeboy about it, you know, and he suggested this too. He was like, yeah, it could be like something like maybe it's a $10 fine the first time, and the second time 25, third time 100. You know what I'm saying? Everybody, like, you know, it's funny, people be colorists, but then when it comes to that money, everybody like the green though. So yeah, something like that, man, because that's ridiculous, man. And people know the potential harm that you could do to somebody and they don't care. You know, they don't care. In fact, I feel like it's even more nefarious than that. I feel like people look forward to the potential harm being the worst it could be. Yeah, that should not go unpunished. Same with people that, you know what I'm saying, accuse people of doing stuff that could really change their life. I think that people should be punished, man. I do. I think and that's fair. That make you, next time you call, you better make sure it's for a reason. You know, not just because you see somebody that doesn't look like you, or your punk, insecure, weak behind sees as a threat just because you don't know them. You know, then hey, we're gonna tax you, because you know that they remain anonymous too. They keep anonymity, so and like you can tell, which is good because you don't want retaliation, right? Because I was feeling that day I would have retaliated on somebody, but at the same time, it's just like, you know, and these things happen, right? It happened to me before, and you know. And look how bad that would have been, because like I said, my nephew just got out of jail, and it's just like, gosh dang, if that would have happened, he would have been in trouble, big trouble, you know. But me, somebody like me, I have no criminal record. I have no record at all. The only time I've been in jail is the capacity of a visitor. You know, thank God for that. We want to keep it that way. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, so like that happened to me before, and nothing happened to me because they look up my stuff and they see, yeah, I ain't even got a speeding ticket on my record. Got me fucked up, boy. I'm a law-abiding citizen. You know what I'm saying? Red-blooded, God-fearing, voting American, tax-paying American. You feel me? You know what I'm talking about? So, shit, I might pull up if you got time. Hell no, I'm about to go get some food, man. I'm hungry, man. But yeah, you can pull up. How can I tell my boy Ty no, man? He my brother, bro. Can't tell you no, bro. Hop in. I can't tell you no. But please, I'm hungry. Please make it less than 15 minutes. I'm in the Discord now. I can't tell you no, bro. But yeah, so I just think yeah, it's just a lot of insensitivity when it comes to, you know, it's just people be hypersensitive like to certain things. I mean, but look at it too though, right? And this is no disrespect, because I know when I make these comparisons, people think that I'm diminishing something. I'm not. I'm saying that both should be treated fairly, like with Sandy Ryan and her fight against Michaela Mayer. People were saying that, and I'm one of them. I'm saying that Sandy Ryan was thrown off. Do I think that it's a reason why she lost? No, but I could understand if she feels like that way. But you know, but nobody was saying that it was an excuse for her, right? It was just, oh, that happened. Oh, I feel bad. Oh, that threw her off. Oh, that could have messed up her fight and her performance. And I agree. But then how can you think that a paint thrown pre-fight, paint thrown at you before the fight has even happened, how can you say that that impacted the outcome, but then not understand or sympathize towards PEDs in somebody's system not impacting the outcome? You see what I'm saying? Like, there's just no consistency, and I despise that, because I think that it's not about what it was, it's about who it happened to, and that's terrible, dog. But that's the world we live in, man. So just keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. I'll DM you what I was told since I've been back. All right, shit. I was for the get food. I'm taking my lunch break. Oh, okay, bet. All right, chat. I'm about to go ahead and call it, man. Yeah, hit me there. Is Tyson gonna win, man? I hope so. You talking about Mike Tyson or you talking about Tyson Fury, Linsall? Either way, I'm hoping both Tysons win. I hope Mike Tyson beats Jake Paul, and I hope Tyson Fury beats Alexander Usyk. But I wouldn't be mad at Usyk winning, because I like Usyk too. I just like Tyson Fury a little bit more. And Usyk's a beast, right? 2-time undisputed. Can't argue with that. But yeah, so I don't know which Tyson you're talking about, but I'm going for both Tysons in both outfits. But yeah, man, y'all be easy. Mike Tyson, oh yeah. Power is the last thing to go, right, Linsall? So we know his power, it's not going to be as devastating as it was when he was 20, but he should still have some power. He's going to hit harder than the average 60-year-old man, but he's still a 60-year-old man, right? 58 to be exact. He's 30 years the senior of Jake Paul. So, and what happened last time we seen Mike Tyson? I'm not talking about against Roy Jones, because those are two senior citizens fighting in respect to boxing. I'm talking about his last real fights, right, that he had. I believe that he retired in the 6th round. Why did he retire? Because he got tired. So if he was getting tired 20 years ago in fights, why would he get tired now? You know what I'm saying? So I think if Mike Tyson lands early, of course he could win. He can knock anybody out. He can knock out a killer whale, right, if he hits him right. But if Jake Paul, who's in boxing shape, whether you like him or not, whether we acknowledge his opposition or not, he's in good boxing shape. He's a young man, 28 years old. He's a big guy. He's bigger than Mike at this point. Mike Tyson has no problem beating bigger guys, but you know, he's a bigger guy. He's more athletic. He has more stamina, has more in the gas tank. If he could just tire Mike out, then how can Mike win? You know, let's be realistic here. But if Mike Tyson hits anybody, he could win. So yeah, I think it's 50-50. I think it's a toss-up. But yeah, I'm going. Do I think he could win? Yeah. Do I think Jake Paul could win too? Yeah. So I hope Mike Tyson wins, because if Jake Paul wins, that's terrible. But it is what it is, man. He's damn near geriatric, man. Fury been back on that booger sugar. He on that demon time. He on that, hey. But yeah, man, y'all be easy. Take care of yourselves. Remember, with God, we can do anything. Without God, we're nothing. The doctor's out. Peace. Don't forget to like the video.
From the hood to college, both worlds they had to meet. 6 degrees between us, so cold, we're about to freeze. But we're Florida boys, hot takes, we bring the heat. We're moving the culture, the engineers to the streets.
Oh yeah, shout out to Cito for the love and the super chat as well, man. Thank you, brother.